because I'm in a relationship and there's a tension because of there's conflict, I am pushed to learn how to resolve conflict. So it helps us to learn life skills like resolving conflict, having empathy, understanding people's feelings. Could I say something? My partner is not happy about it. Oh, what I said was harmless, but I know what I said has affected them. So at least I'm learning to put myself in their shoe and see things from their perspective, understand their feelings, recognize whatever they are feeling. It also helps us to have that empathy. So we learn that from relationship. Again, with a relationship, what it does for us is you're able to share the workload. So with my time, I have to come to the library, do research, go to this place and go for lectures. But because I'm sharing similar course with my partner can do the research and come back and then we share the outcome. So I don't have to come to the library to do all that. Actually, we are sharing some few stuff. Or instead of going to buy food outside, the person is doing that for me, so I'll focus on my learning. And then when we meet, be able to share whatever the person has brought. We have saved a bit of time. So there's a lot of positive things about being in a relationship. Hello? So it's not bad at all, right? I want to get them. Is it bad? How many of us are in a relationship? Romantic relationship. When you have a broken heart, you will know. Eh? When you have a broken heart, you know. You don't know. So, but how many of us are also married? Okay, so there are just a few who are married. So how many of us are not in a relationship as single? So some people are not in a relationship, they are not single, they are not married. Where are you? Situationship. Okay. Well, that is fine. If that's a situationship, but well, I hope the situation is a positive one, not a negative one. Okay, so we can go on. So I'm just retreating some of the positive things that we have gone through in a relationship that help us. And that's even the reason why some of us go into the relationship. We are happy about it. But let's start off some of the struggle, the problems, the roller coaster, the heartbreaks, the jealousy, insecurity. Hello? The abuse. Let's start on that. So actually we see the double-edged sword, the positive and hot, the negative. Then we can navigate and know the kind of relationship we want and the kind of relationship we are preparing towards. All right, so let's look at some of the negatives. So imagine you're in a relationship and you have a conflict, you don't know how to resolve that. And there's a tension. You are not talking to your partner is not talking to you. Can you focus and learn? Hey, you sure? See, the thing is, you tell yourself, I can learn. Oh, this guy crowd, this lady crowd, so it's not worth my time. So you open the book. Just a few minutes, all of a sudden, say, this small thing I said, I did, and then all of a sudden, right? The book is just nonsense. There's a book there. Either you are crying, you are worried, you are even out there. So when there's conflict, it affects you. Hello? It's what? Affects you. Again, you are spending some time with a person, you are loving those times, and you realize that the person is also getting closer to another person. There's a bit of jealousy, a fear of losing the person to somebody else. And that can even affect other people with their self-esteem. You see that I'm not beautiful, I'm not intelligent, I don't have money, and so forth. So that eats into the relationship. So you are in class, lectures are going on, but your head is not here. Your head is with somebody. We experience that. Okay. The other aspect is because we have our various needs, and we brought those needs to the relationship. I want you to call me. I want you to be there for me. I want us to go on for date night, a social event together. And a partner is not available for us to go on these programs, attend these meetings. So you are not happy. And that is causing problem for you. So although you are in school to learn, but because of the relationship, the book is suffering. And what we are ignoring is, in school, we have an academic calendar that we are following. So we know how many weeks we are spending in school for a semester. And these people who put this calendar together, there has no space for relationship. No space for broken heart. Hello? So in your mind, I'm in school, I'm doing well. So some of us might end the semester with C+, B+, instead of A. The missing one is called relationship. So if you have not experienced, I pray you won't experience that. That you understand what I'm talking about. And then we have other people who also have issues with their own emotions. So emotions like anger, they don't know how to deal with their anger. So a little thing, they decide to project their emotions on you. So they end up using words that you don't like. Some can get even physical with you. And then you are trapped in a relationship because the relationship has been good to you one way or other. And you don't like the treatment. Living to is a different thing. So we are trapped. And sometimes we are calculating a good time versus the bad time. And the fear is, if I let this go, I'm not sure I'll meet somebody as nice like this. Although it's not a bad person. Who says God created bad people? We are all good people. So we get trapped there. So emotions, people are not able to resolve their issue, and anger is one of them. Again, other people with their past. So they came to the relationship with their own past issues. What their boyfriend and girlfriend did to them, it has nothing to do with you. So once you're in a relationship, they are projecting those fears on you. So you did something, and you're thinking about this is what my partner else did, and the relationship came to an end. So those emotions are all coming back to you. So these baggages also affect you in the relationship. To other people, it's a communication. They are beating around the bush. They don't go straight to the point. Anytime they are talking to you, you feel like they are criticizing you. They are attacking you. So most of the relationship is very defensive. It's like MPP and NDC. There's all sorts of argument going on and on and on and on. And all these things are going, we have steady waiting for us. We have book waiting for us. We have timeline to meet. So these things affect our heart studies as well. The question you might be asking is it good to have a relationship? I would say no. It's good. Maybe let me add a last one to it. In terms of priorities, because of this, we also lose priorities. You know, you have in mind that after lectures, I have these few hours to learn. And that few hours, you have to go out and meet somebody and spend some time together. So you come back, and the person say, oh, I've misses you. Can we meet again? So, yeah. Can we do it next day? No. What are you doing? I'm with my friends. Oh, are you choosing your friends over me? Oh, we are a steady group. Me too, I have a steady group, but I want to see you. Or you think the relationship is only important to me? So the priorities change. We end up putting the relationship first and academic calendar last. So at the end of the day, it also what affects us. These are some of the dilemmas that we are faced in these relationships. So if we have to navigate, we are an adult, we want a relationship, we start with you. What do you want? What are your priorities? Take a piece of paper and be clear on that. Know what you want. Know what you want. And this is a short story for you. I like to wear suit, not because I like suit. Because one day, I lost my wallet in the trotro. So when I had a jacket, I realized that there's a lot of pockets inside I can put my wallet and other stuff. So more than a decade, I'm always wearing a jacket. And the reason why I wear it is because I am keeping my valuables. It's not because I like suit. So I do buy a lot. And most of the time, the weddings and other things, I try to get some. So I get to the boutique. The first time, they look at me and say, oh, you want a suit? Give him size 50. I took the size 50 away. It was okay on me. So I paid for it. So in my mind, I didn't know my size. Now I've got to know my size is size 50. So I've been buying size 50 for almost 3 years. And I've gone to buy a suit, and I didn't get the size I want. So my way out, the owner said, can we try 48 and see? I said, why not? We tried the 48, and 48 looked better on me than the 50. So I bought the 48, then all the 50, I don't want to wear it anymore. Because when I wear the 50, it look like a different person. When I wear the 48, I look like a different person together. So I've been buying 48 now. Anytime I see the 50, I'm angry with myself that for 3 years, I've been buying size 50. So I want a particular color. I got to a boutique. I didn't get the color. So I asked, can I try any other size? So say, your height and everything, we can't get other size for you. What we have is 46. 46 will not work for you. I said, okay, do you pay money to test it or try it or no? Can I try it? Yes. I tried, and the 46 fit me exactly. And this is after 6 years. So I'm asking myself, for 6 years, I've worn a wrong suit size. Hello? I didn't know. I want a suit, but I didn't know my size. So knowing yourself, yes, if you're going to go into a relationship, know what you want. Are you with me? Know what you want. It's important. If you want to balance your academics and that of relationship, know your time, what you can do, the kind of partner you're looking for. When you want to get married, think about all this. Your priorities, be able to put them down. You might not get somebody like exactly, but I'll tell you somebody you can work with. So know what you want. That is one thing. And then learn to say no. I'll tell you a short story on that as well. When I go to barbering salon, I don't like to be trimmed, my face to be trimmed. Whenever that happens, I don't look well. I look different. I notice. I've done that for a long time. The day of my wedding, the barber said, let's try something different because today is a special day in your life. So I agree. And then we trim it. And then I look different. And the day I'm supposed to be happy, smile, in my mind, I'm thinking about my hairstyle. So all the pictures was a mess because I didn't like the hairstyle. I'm the one carrying it, but somebody has made a decision for me, or I'll follow somebody. Instead of saying no, I say, oh, let's what? Try. So I end up with a bad, whatever, look. And that pains me a lot. Last 2 weeks, I was going to speak, last week I was going to speak at Tema, at a church. So I passed through my barbering salon again, and this one is a different person. And I said, I want something different. Let's try something different. So what we are going to try, it comes with, you will have to trim your face. I'm so okay. I have overcome this. This is more than a decade now. But if there's a way we can trim my face, I'll be fine. Let's try it. Also, okay, let me bring you some of the brochures we have. Choose a style. I chose a style. They did it and I didn't like it. So I went back and then it wasn't around. So I'm forced, because of time, I have to go to the place. I spent trying to comb the just to look different. What am I trying to say? That when you know yourself, you should be able to learn to say no. Hello? Learn to say what? No. It doesn't make you a selfish person. It makes you a self-care. You are taking care of yourself. You know what you want. You are trying to what? Protect you. So you start with what you want. If you want to get married and you are going to stay in school and your aim is to have first class, and the time I have, do I have much time for relationship? Then let me know how much time I'm giving to relationship, how much time I'm giving to what? My school or my study time. I'm aware about it. If my partner wants to communicate, you know, sometimes when you call somebody, somebody calls you, you don't even look at the time. I've learned not to pick a call when I'm going to a program or any place. Because as soon as you pick the call, the next thing is you meet the traffic and then you are late to the place. So I have learned that. So you in a relationship, sometimes you just pick a small call, the conversation becomes a long one, 1 hour, 2 hours, you are done. And when you lose time, you cannot get time back. If you lose money, you can get money back, but you cannot get what? Time back. So learn to say no when it comes to time. What works for you in terms of communication? I will be available at this time. I won't be available at the other time. Learn to have a partner who will respect you. So certain people, they don't respect you because they don't respect themselves. They don't respect their time. So I want somebody who respects me. So when I say no, the person take no for that, not yes or maybe. Hello? There are people who come to ladies, or they are coming for a relationship and they are pursuing you, say no, and so, oh, you are playing hard to get. So let me put pressure. So as soon as the pressure becomes intense, you give it in. So ladies don't know what they like. It's not true. Probably you gave in to what? The no. And I'm pleading with you. So know what you want, exactly what you want, and stick to that at all costs. Again, you also have family, you have friends, you have support. These networks are good for you. You are in school. You have some study group that you depend on to learn. Some relationship can take you away from this study group because of people's insecurity, fear that somebody within the study group is closer to you. So I'll plead with you. I'll plead with you. You know yourself. People cannot be doubting you and want to be with you. If you don't trust me, what the essence of being with me? I've not seen anybody who goes on and eats food that they think the food will poison them or kill them. The same with relationship. So I know myself, I know I'm a faithful person. The relationship I have around me is for steady purpose. It's not for extra relationship or any other relationship. So I stick to that. So depend on those support. You have family and friends. So that friends and family who are there for you. But sometimes people will take you out of those relationships because of their own insecurity. So those supports are very important. I also want to touch on that. We don't go into relationship for money. Hello? We don't go into relationship for what? You know that. We don't go into relationship for what? Okay. And we are not also going into relationship for sex. Huh? So I'll start with the money, I come to the sex. So with the money, in fact, what Mr. Obi has spoken to us is different avenue of what? Earning, becoming entrepreneur. The good book says that your gift will open doors for what? For you, make rooms for you. So if you want to make money, your skills, your qualification, your vocations, occupation, all these things are enough. Your businesses will give you opportunity to make money. You just need to utilize them. But when you go into relationship and you put these things on hold, and you want to depend on another person, you want to be a slave, that's what you want to do. Or whatever is given to you, the person has a power to control you. Or you don't know. I want to buy phone for you in a relationship with me. You cannot escape my call. You have to pick it. Oh, I call you and there's a call waiting. I want to find out who were you talking about to. Can you send me a screenshot? Why are you standing? In fact, I don't trust where you're standing. Can we do a video call? Oh, some of you meet your partner and then they suggest you to a search. Bring your phone. They've gone through your call log. Who have you spoken to? They've gone to your chat. Who are you chatting with? As if you are a baby or child, you don't know what you are doing. All because the person is what? Providing for you. So you know what I'm saying? You see, the aim is when we get to a relationship, we go to be interdependent. We carry each other, but not to be a codependent. I'm going to depend on somebody for money. And unfortunately, we are doing that in a lot of relationships. So sometimes I meet a lady and say, hey, when you look at these specs, the hair, everything, do you think that you are my type? So what you are just saying is, I'm spending a lot of money to maintain me. Do you have that money to what? And people can do anything to prove you wrong, whether they will go and rent a car, borrow it, come up with different lifestyles, just to get into a relationship with you and then give you a broken heart. So I'm pleading with you. You don't go into a relationship for money, whether man or a woman. And again, with a sex. Hello? The way we talk about sex so easily, as if sex is nothing. Sex is something. Oh, sex is something. Very serious. Very, very serious. But the way we treat it, we measure in sex, and when we get into marriage, the sex becomes a problem. I tell people, if you are going to get to know somebody, you want to know somebody and get married to the person or have a stable relationship, the focus is what is in the person's mind. What does the person know, what you discuss, what you spoke about, not what is under the person's thighs. All of us, if you go naked, you know what you see. Hello? You see, you can predict. But if a murderer is before you or a liar is beside you, will you predict? Will you know? So I plead with you, spend more time to get to know people. That's why friendship is a good thing. So in a school, I would recommend that have a good friendship. A good what? Friendship. So people can come to you, oh, I'm in love with you, I want to marry you. Where with the friendship, I can prove that whatever you are saying is true or what? Lies. Or it's just a fatuation. So friendship is important. And at any point in time, friends can move on. Friends can turn out to be something bigger. In fact, the great marriages, they start as a friend. All right, so friendship is important, and I played with you. So relationship sex is something that you should be careful about. And a lot of people say, oh, counselor, what about if I try and get to know, then I know that the person is fatal, the person is good, the person is okay before I marry the person. What about if something is so small, what do I do? If I'm not tested a timber, small thing will not be a problem, right? So it depends on your experience. Your personal experience can create trouble for you in your own marriage. Your own personal experience, who you've been exposed to, what you have done, and so forth. That gives you a certain expectation as you are coming to the marriage that I need a partner of this particular caliber. Very well. So I played with you. You're not going to marry 4 or 5 people. You only what? 1, probably, where we are heading towards now. So that one, how sure are you that millions of men and women, the ones coming towards you are the one? That I am not just trying as much as possible to just give myself away. Because if you look at super glue, when you put 2 materials together, at the end of the day, you want to separate it. It's like part A, part of the one material going to the other, part of the other material going to the other. And sometimes with some relationship, after sex and everything, when we break up, it looks like you are not the same. Some of you, something about you is gone. So in some relationship or marriages, the S's who are move on, they are creating problem in there. Because we think you are a good person, but certain thing I've experienced in the past with a certain S, you cannot get to that particular standard. So I'm married to you, but I'm in love with what? An S, or I have a certain kind of experience that I cannot let go. So I played with you. Sex is special. Do it with somebody that you are sure is the right person. And if you are sure the person is the right person, you're not doing that at the beginning of the relationship. Hello? You do that at the beginning of what? The relationship. I'll add a few tips on how we are keeping our relationship. Since I've been speaking to those who are not having a relationship, what about those who are in a relationship already, who cannot let go, who want to keep it and sustain it? What can we do in that regard to have a healthier relationship? One of the things we all struggle with in a relationship is about conflict. And when there's a conflict, emotionally we are disconnected. You could be playing with somebody, you can be chatting, you can be having a conversation. As soon as the person says certain word or did something you are not happy about, all of a sudden you want to disconnect. Your face changed, your facial expressions have changed, you are moving away. So when there's conflict, emotionally we are disconnected. And when we are disconnected, there are certain kind of people, they want to re-establish the relationship. So in that process, they are trying as much as possible to confront the person, talk about it, because they just don't like it that we have been disconnected. What other person is also thinking about, what happened? Let me just process this whole thing. I don't know what is going on. So they also like to distance. So in most relationships, when there's a conflict, one person is trying to re-establish the connection, other person is trying to distance from the connection. Sometimes we misinterpret some of them as ghosting, that you are ghosting me. Not every ghosting is ghosting. Some people just don't know what is happening. They cannot put their thought together, so they want to be alone for some time to think about it before they come back. Probably they are not telling you. So in a relationship, there's a tension, and you're asking yourself, why is it that always I'm the one coming forward to resolve the issues? You are always distancing. You see that play a lot. What you can do with your partner is, I understand that you distance, I pursue. But we have to find a time and resolve our issue. So maybe in 24 hours, you resolve our issue. So let's try as much as possible to approach it and talk about it. And how you start to resolve the conflict is also important. If you come as if you are looking for rainbow, you are looking for fight, that kind of attitude, you get it. Hello? So how you come to resolve the issues. When you come with a cool hair, you are calm, and you start about you, what you are not happy with, what you want to change. Actually, it helps. So if you are angry, it's not a good place to start resolving conflict. To some of us, when we are angry and we want to talk, you realize that after talking, you make trash. Anger and wisdom does not stay in the same place. Oh, when you're angry, I don't know whether you've tried that before. I have tried it. You can put on a recorder and speak. And when you're done, play back and realize that it's a trash. So a lot of people come back to their relationship always saying sorry, sorry. Sorry has lost its value. Because every time they're angry, they display the same kind of what? Attitude. So I'm pleading with you. I'm not saying you can't get angry. Getting angry is just saying that I'm not happy with certain behavior, and you are reacting to that emotionally. That is fine. But when you're angry, it's not the best time to speak. So focus on something else, cool off, come back and talk about it. But if you are a type that if you don't talk, you will die. You feel like you die. Then get to your washroom, put on a recorder and say all the nonsense. And then when you finish, keep it, don't send it. When you are calm, play back your nonsense. Listen to yourself. Nobody will tell you to delete it. You help yourself manage your anger without sending the trash outside. Hello? I've just spent a little time on the conflict resolution because I believe most of people are battling with these things. And that is causing a lot of relationship trouble. And again, talking about issues, when you come to the point of resolving, people use different tactics that does not work. Others use avoidance. So they try as much as possible to avoid issues. When there's issue, they slip it under the carpet. Let's forget it. Let's move on. Let's not talk about it. When a few weeks, the same thing resurfaces. So they try to avoid. Other people, what they try to do is they accommodate. So it happened, I'm not happy about it, but I'll keep it with myself. If it happened 3 times, 4 times, I'll tell you mine. And then 3 times, 5 times, you see the kind of attitude they show up. It has not helped the relationship. It further escalates it. Others compete. They behave like children. So you hurt me, I hurt you. You did the same thing, I also did the same thing, just to show that we are all human beings, so we all have the right to hurt each other. But the last one that is important to me is we need to learn how to compromise. And compromise doesn't mean that one has to be a fool, one has to be a wise person. It doesn't mean that we are meeting each other 50-50 or halfway as we think. Compromise is about thinking about a relationship. What can we do to save this relationship? What can we do to save this relationship? If I can change a certain attitude, I could let certain thing go so that we can save the relationship, I should do it. So when you're having a conversation, how do we save it? Can we try something new? And then the suggestion that comes out can provide the opportunity to compromise. So we can save the relationship. It's about a we, not about me or you. What works for the two of us. Lastly, forgiveness. People find it difficult to forgive. Somebody said that it depends on what the person has done. That causes you to forgive or not to forgive. But sometimes do it for yourself. You don't forgive because you are a fool. But you do that for you because it helps you mentally. Some years ago, I had a call from Tamale. And it was about 3 a.m. I was up praying, and the call continues coming. So I picked the call. The person was crying continuously. So I just asked the person to take a deep breath. I'm here, I'm waiting. When you are calm, we have a conversation. So when the person was calm, I asked, can we talk now? Yes. What was it about? I said, Counselor, I want to commit suicide. I'm feeling worthless. It's a plain thing. It's okay. What is costing you this? Can we go through the issue? Can we navigate? What has triggered this? What is triggering that? And according to her, she came to the house, and then somebody who is close as a family member was saying something negative about her. So she recorded that just to send to the husband and look, this family member, look at what he's saying about him. Because if I say it, you say I'm lying. But these are the evidence. So he took the evidence and spent the whole night playing the evidence back. Hello? So the earpiece is on, and the evidence is on autopilot. So after a certain time, I realized that I'm losing it. Probably whatever the person says, that's who I am. So what I'm just trying to let you know that when people hurt us, and realize this does not align with us, that's not who we are, you letting go. It means that I don't want to focus on that particular incident, that issue, those words. You're doing that for you. You are saving yourself. It's self-care. But when you're going to focus on it and play back, make issues out of it, trying to make a case for yourself, it will be very hard for you to forgive, and that hurts you in the long run. So letting go, do it for you. Mentally, do it for you. Emotionally, do it for you. Do that to protect you. Hello? So some of us who have archives of people who have hurt us, because of that, we cannot pass certain places. I'll plead with you, let go. Do it for you. That will give you a lot of blessings. Do it for you. Well, so on the conflict, I think I'm done with the conflict. Last time I'm also touching on. And that's for those who are in a relationship, then probably I'll be wrapping up. It's about our needs. All of us have needs. We all have needs. There are certain needs that we can take care of. There are certain needs that the relationship take care of. Some of us, we want to go into a relationship because we want our partner to meet certain needs for us. But those needs can be taken care of by ourselves, not our partner. So what I'm trying to say is you have a space for yourself, a balanced time for yourself, and a time for your relationship. So in case you don't have hobby, passion, things you spend time on when you are free, please get some. Because it's not a fun that you are idle. You calling your partner is not around, and you're not happy. Yet you can do something to just take off time and be okay, or you don't have any hobby. And you are calling everybody just to speak to the person. It doesn't work well. So get a hobby, things that you can spend time with. And then the relationship to let's prioritize time on what we can do together, activities. And when it comes to the needs of love, how we can express our needs, where probably we can look at the notion of what they call the 5 love language and know what works for you, what works for your partner, how you can express love. And we are told that we can express love in 5 ways, either through words, through act or action, through the time we spend together, through gift, through touch. In all these 5, we can express love. So you are the kind of person, if somebody compliments you, somebody tells you, I love you, you're looking good, the food is nice, appreciation makes you feel good. That could be your language, a way that you want to receive love or express love. That's not enough. Get to know that of your partner. We have ideas that we call it act of service. That some people, love to them is not about telling me sweet words, telling me that you look beautiful. I experienced that in marriage before. I used to come home and I'll tell my wife that you're looking very beautiful. The food is nice. And whenever I say it, the reactions and the attitudes I get, it's like I'm pouring water on a stone. I don't see any reactions. So I ask myself, does this woman really loves me or what? Because what I say to you, what I'm seeing, I express it, but I don't get that. And he doesn't say that to me as well. And the other day I was coming to watch football, so I came home early. Our team, which is not doing very well, Manchester United. Then I entered the house. I went to the kitchen to take some water, and the kitchen was in a mess. So as once a stepchild, one of the ladies is as a stepchild, you take care of the home, clean the home. I said, look, I'm going to clean the kitchen and send a statement to my wife that, look, these things, I know how to do them better. Later did I know that I was going to help myself. So I cleaned the place very well, and I decided I've lost even interest in the football. Why didn't she come? I tell her my mind. Obviously, we're having our little conflict that when there's that kind of a little misunderstanding, her look like the cloud when it's about to rain, you see how the cloud is. So that was the feeling in the morning. And that can last for a week or two. So if I'm going to add this to it, I'm prepared for 1 month. So I decided to speak my mind. So I was ready, waiting. Then she came in and then rushed to the kitchen and came back and they said, thank you. And I'm surprised. So he came closer and he tried to put a hand around me, and I'm feeling uncomfortable because the temperature is up there. What I want to say is up there, and what I'm getting is different thing. So I didn't know you're going to surprise me this way. So what's a surprise? But you coming to clean the place. And then he said to me that anytime you come back and say, I love you, I care about you, maybe today you've shown the love by going to clean the kitchen. So if you follow me on social media, I can speak much about her, talk about how much I feel about her. That is me expressing love. But when you get home, I had to go beyond that, maybe go and clean the kitchen, clean the bowl and those kind of stuff. And that speak love to her in her own language. And it was painful to learn that. And that's one of the difficult things. So act of service is one way people want you to love them, help them with their tasks. But don't do it at your own time, but do it at their time. So when I say do it now, you do it now. And they don't want to ask for help. They want you to be thoughtful. They want you to initiate that. And if you're able to do that, you are speaking love. Others is about quality time, time you spend together, not quantity, quality. That you are not distracted. These days that people are so distracted, they cannot stay a few minutes without a mobile phone. That we are checking all updates. We are doing all sorts of things. So in a relationship, we pretend we are spending time together, but we are not spending quality time. We are just occupying the time. So if you're going to be with a partner whose language is about quality time, it means that put away distraction. And I'll say this to our men. Men, we cannot be multitask like women can be. Hello? You cannot be multitask. So if your partner comes to you and say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you or spend some quality time with you, just to help yourself. Look at your shadow. If that works for you at that moment, then you can put the distraction away. But if you pretend I can be here, doing my thing and still be talking, very soon you ask, what did you say? Can you repeat again? They realize that you are far disconnected from the conversation, and that can hurt somebody so much. So phone, the TV, all sorts of distraction can hurt certain people whose quality time is their way of expressing love or receiving love. To other people, it's about gift. The gift has to be inexpensive. The gift can be big, but the gift mean to them. So if I like a dress, and the color is the blue, although blue is not my favorite color, but I wear a lot. What it means is you are going to get me a dress, get a blue color. That would mean so much to me that you are getting a black color. I'm saying blue is not my favorite color, so it's not about me. If the person is like a certain kind of food, and you are going to get that, or a bread or a snack, and it comes from a favorite person, you know where the person gets it from, and you are doing that to them. You are thinking about the thought you put behind these whole actions. You're speaking about love. You are being thoughtful, and that means so much to them. And that's a way of expressing love. Maybe the last one I'll touch on is those whose language is about touch. This one is non-sexual touch. And a lot of men don't do well in this department. Non-sexual touch means that you can just hug me, cuddle me, hold me, and nothing more. But some men will touch you or hold you, and then something is happening. Hello? So when they are coming to give their partner just a little comfort or touch, they are not comfortable because at the end result, they know what will happen. But I tell you, there are people whose language is about touch me, hold me, nothing more. And that makes them feel loved. It makes them feel appreciated. It makes them feel valued. So if you are having a relationship or we are married already, we are in school, and then we want to make that relationship work, the future, I'm just saying that let's meet our needs, personal needs, prioritize your school, look at your time, meet the needs of the relationship as well. Have open communication with them. Be honest with what you can accept, what you can take, what you can negotiate, what you cannot negotiate. Do that. try as much as possible to resolve conflict. Try as much as possible to resolve conflict. We cannot live without conflict, all of us. The good book says, where 2 or 3 are met in my name, I'm dead. But what they don't say is that where 2 or 3 are met, there's conflict there. So the relationship, there's always going to be a conflict. But we cannot dodge conflict. We can learn to resolve conflict. And also, let's learn to say no when we are not ready for a relationship. Let's not force ourselves into a certain relationship that will cause us in the future. And as we are doing all that, it's my prayer that our academic journey will be the one that will be fulfilling. It will not be more stressful. Hello? As we are learning to navigate what we are doing, whatever we find ourselves doing, the outcome will be what we expect. If we want to have a good grace, because we are prioritize our needs, we are focused on what we have to do, we are going to achieve good grace at the end of the day. If we learn to manage relationship well, some of us will come out very well. It was so sad that recently when we had a tech that somebody lost their life because of a relationship. We didn't come to school to lose our life. We didn't get into a relationship to lose our life. And that's why even divorce is more acceptable these days. If your life is in danger, you should be thinking about that direction. But what I'm just trying to say is, let's have a healthier relationship, not unhealthy relationship. And you are in any source of abusive relationship, please learn to let go. It's a self-care. And if you do that, I believe a lot of blessings. Thank you. I'm done. I can take your question.
Counselor, can we do better for counselor? All right. If you are just joining us in the auditorium, this is UNIMAC Global's Mentorship, Entrepreneurship, and Networking Conference. So please, as usual, follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook. We will take 3 questions for counselor. Any question for counselor? Do you have any questions for counselor? Please, if you do, just raise your hand because I can't really see from far. Okay, I believe there's one question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor. I have just one question. I was supposed to ask the other man one question, but I think because of the media thing, okay, I can ask both here. Okay, for the other counselor, I would want to ask, cryptocurrency, is cryptocurrency considered as a... Okay, sir. Okay, the thing is this about relationship for those that are in a relationship. So let me ask this very quick question. There are some partners I have seen because I have friends that are also in relationship, and when you ask them and they have issues, they'll tell you that my girlfriend likes me to hit her whenever we have issues. Not like something I have heard. This is something I have seen. Like I've been there and I've witnessed it, and she'll tell you, if you don't hit me, it means you are not a man. And these things, they are possible. These things are things that happens. Do you get? I have a friend that the girlfriend told him and was like, sometimes when I get you angry, the way you react to whatever I do, it doesn't seem right to me. That she wants him to be abusive, like physically, on her. So would you say, but this girl in question, when it comes to support, she's there for him. Do you get? Now, when it comes to support, mentally, emotionally, when they are good, when it comes to support, she's there for him. But when there's an issue, she'll tell him and be like, oh, guy, hit me, for me to gain corrections. So would you say I should advise him to leave the relationship? Because whenever I see him, I'll tell him, guy, with this your relationship, they give me any encouragement to get into one. You get, because how will a lady tell you to hit her just to prove a point? Now, would you want me to advise him to leave the lady? Because when it comes to support here, you talked about we going into a relationship and wanting something out of it. Now, the thing we want is not, now you said we should not go into a relationship with the motion of just sex or money. Now, this is you telling us that going into this relationship, it means the partner needs to be on the same thinking frequency with us. So now, would you want me to tell him that he should leave that relationship, that, okay, he meets with other ladies and these ladies, they give him peace, but they are not supportive?
All right, thank you. I pray that you don't go to prison to visit your friend. Because probably one day I'll hit you and then you might not get up again. And then the police after. See, what makes you a man is not about how you abuse somebody. So probably the lady has gone through certain kind of experiences in the name of relationship. And somebody has abused her and said, look, I'm the man. I love you, that's why I beat you and so forth. So she has believed that particular stuff. And it's not the right thing. So what you can do, your friend can do to help your the girlfriend is, let's say for counseling, there's a support. Even in a school year, there's a support. Let's say for what? Counseling. Okay, a relationship counseling. Because if the friend is saying that that behavior is not good, the girlfriend will not even take it. But within the counseling, we get to understand that what you are saying, it doesn't make sense. Your experience with the other partner is different from what a healthy relationship is what is. Okay, so she might be a good person, a good lady, as we say, support her, but her own personal journey has made her believe certain things which is not good. So if we can go as soon as possible to go to counseling together so that she will understand that part, that is fine. But if she's not willing and you still want to be hit before shown love, then I ask you, you should let go of that relationship. Then it might end up in prison if you continue. Because one day you hit, the person doesn't get up again, that's the end of what? You. All right. So the lady needed help.
Please, is there any, okay.
So please, my question is, when you were talking, you talk about compromising in a relationship. So here is the case, you learn to understand each other. You try to persuade him to get to know what is really wrong. And then you forgive at the end of the day. And in about a week or two, the same attitude still repeats itself. And it keeps on happening severally. So eventually you got fed up and then decide to rejoin yourself. And this same person comes back and asking you why you have been ignoring him. Meanwhile, he started the whole thing. Are you wrong or right?
Hello? So there's no even wrong and right here. So what you've learned from that relationship is your partner in question has a certain struggle. Saying sorry does not mean that he's taking full accountability and working on himself not to repeat the same action. So he says sorry to just reconnect. And a few weeks later, show the same kind of behavior or action again. And we cannot continue to be in that particular circle. And that's why you are trying to withdraw. So what you need to do is communicate. Okay? I understand that you have a certain struggle when we have conflict, and this is what you do. This puts my life in danger. I don't like it. Emotionally, this is affecting me. So in as much as I love you, I wish that is resolved. If you want to say cancel together, we can do that. If you want to do that alone, that is fine. But if that is not taken care of, we can't continue the relationship and continue doing the same thing. Because when we normalize what is wrong, we cannot change it any longer. Okay? But when you mention and communicate this with him before you say, I am taking a break, a hold, that is fine. But if you don't communicate, all of that, you just change. And he has realized that you have changed. He's calling you, also, what happened? So I've apologized already. Because last time when I apologized, you forgave me, and I came back and did the same thing. So what is different from this time? You've not communicated the other part of it. So let the person know. And sometimes I'll tell you that use the use of what we call the I statement. Sometimes you are saying this, you say, oh, you are like that, you are like this. The person will feel that you are attacking them. Talk about how you feel. So we start with I. I don't feel safe when somebody behaves like this towards me. You are talking about yourself, what you can take, what you cannot take, so that he will be able to understand you from that perspective and work on himself. So I will encourage you to go back and follow the same cycle or pattern. But there's a need to communicate so that he can work on himself and we can have a healthier relationship. If it's not going to work, then you got to let go.
All right. Are there any other questions for Counselor? All right. I believe there are no other questions. Can we clap for him as he takes his seat? Thank you very much, Counselor.
Okay, a round of applause again for him, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very powerful one. At least we all know how we can deal with our relationships moving forward. Now, very quickly, let me move on to our next speaker. He's a professional with expertise in law, risk management, information security, sustainability, and insolvency. He's recognized for his leadership, innovation, and commitment to driving transformative change across diverse sectors. He holds a BSc in Actuarial Science from the University of Cape Coast, where he served as a founding president of the Society of Actuarial Science Students, and later earned a distinction in risk management and finance from the Business School Netherlands, where he became a learning coach, and an LLM in financial markets in law and regulation. He's a lawyer and a PECB certified information security master and trainer, and has played a key role in protecting critical information infrastructure and mentoring others in information security. His multidisciplinary expertise spans risk management, strategy, business optimization, negotiations, and dispute resolution, making him a trusted advisor to organizations seeking strategic guidance. He's also an author of The Fate of System Thinking and as well Be the Difference, both speaking to diverse topics. The first about the banking crisis and
it's not easy to mobilize and to pool resources to get this done. And so we from the PKR mob, I need to be there. So we from the PKR Mobbing Foundation are grateful that we get to share the day with you. I think there's a video, you can play it. But I'm here for Captain. I'm the secretary of the foundation, and I've been with him for the last 15 years. And so he extends his regards, and I am very sure that the next 45 minutes will be transformative for many people, at least with regards to education and business is concerned. And we pray for grace to be able to guide us through that path. You can play the video, or should I go on? Okay, now I can go, we can play it at the end if you don't mind. Okay, so I want to ask a question. How many of us in this room, let's say this ship is parked at the coast of Jamestown, there's a bus parked here, says that it's going to Switzerland and Netherlands. How many people will leave this conference now and board the bus to Switzerland and Netherlands? Okay. Please, you just finished all your talk. Please stand and see the hands up. Oh, how many? Okay, so there are some hands here. How many people will not go? Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's about, this is definitely less than 5%, right? Please, this statistics is important to me. Please, I want to see how many will not go. How many will not go? I want to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many? 13. Okay. 14, 15. Okay. So there are 15 people in this room. So those of us who did not raise our hands, whether we'll go or we'll not go, what will we do? They are gone. Right. I appreciate that. Right. Now, this is a question I've asked on many campuses. And the results are not very different. Of course, the numbers, let's say if I were to take a guess, maybe we're close to 70, maybe inching 100. And we have just about 15, 17, let's say 20 people. That's about 20%, right? How have we become a people that the name of the ship is right there? It's called St. Juan Batista, right? How many people have heard this name before, St. Juan Batista? Anybody? 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 How many people remember the 2019 we celebrated some festival, Year of Return? We remember that. What were we returning from? It was a year of return from what? Diaspora. Why was that festival necessary? Because some 400 years back, the first slave ship called St. Juan Batista took the first black slaves to the coast of the United States. Now, 400 years, I'm asking the hope of this generation, not only you, across multiple campuses, and 80% would gladly board a ship by the same name and go to the coast. Vacation. Thank you for the clarity. So we'll come back. We just vacation. We just like the snow, right? Why not vacation at Akosombo? Again, I'm asking questions, right? Now, why is this important? This conversation is important because we are tasked to talk about building business. We're tasked to talk about after school. How do you do anything beyond the book? But it's important that I start the conversation from here so that you understand that some of the things we're dealing with it's not things we're building now. We're having to fight historical tasks going some 400 years back, right? So some of the problems we're trying to solve now go way deeper. Please inch me up. If you have a point, I would appreciate. Now, I mentioned two countries. I mentioned Switzerland and I mentioned Netherlands. And we saw quite a number of people. My choice of countries are very, very specific. Do you know that Ghana is 3 times bigger than the two countries put together? You know that, right? Right. Now, if we know that, how many of us didn't know that Ghana was 3 times bigger than the two countries put together? Okay, so a few of us. So here we are, blessed with a landmass which is 238,000 square kilometers, right? And we're happy to board a ship named the very ship that had the first enslavement on board, to go to a land that is 3 times smaller. What happened to a people that sits on the equator with almost everything available, that is happy to live to the Alps where virtually nothing should work, but everything works? What became of us such that, what has happened to us? Ask your friend, what has happened to us? Oh, ask them, I want to hear, ask them. Please take the answer, what has happened to us? Please answer, what has happened to us? Something must have happened. Something must have happened for a people who are 3 times bigger, have all the resources necessary for living, to not be able to organize themselves in a way that after 400 years, for which they celebrate a year of return, almost 80% of its youth would still give up that land. Something must have gone wrong. Do you agree with me? Something must have gone wrong. Or talk to me. Do you agree something must have gone wrong? I still want to believe I'm a young man, so I want you to talk to me. You must agree something must have gone wrong, right? Now, please go ahead. Now, if you can see the board, from these two almost tiny countries in Europe, these are multinationals. Multinationals. So to my right are all Dutch companies, including Shell, which is very common, Heineken. For many of us here, it may serve as a good appetizer. You know, Philips, I'm sure you have something called, these are brands that have turnovers of millions, if not billions. All the companies to your left, Nestle, Rolex, all the brands you can find to your left are Swiss brands. Now let me dare and ask you, who can name me one Ghanaian brand that compares to any of the brands on the board? I'm waiting. Maybe AJ, you are. Yes. Oh, so maybe sub-regional. But do they make turnovers close to any of? No, right. You have a brand in mind. Caveman. Okay. I know Caveman very well, so I love that brand. I like what he's doing. But in terms of comparison, we're very far. We're very far. We are aspiring to beat this, but we're not there yet. Goil. Maybe in Ghana. Do you know anywhere Goil is other than Ghana? Right. Now, why are these questions important? These questions are important because we're going to talk about building a business, right? And I started with a historical problem to say that we are the place where we can, with a landmass 3 times bigger than 2 countries put together, they've been able to produce companies of such wealth. And yet it appears that we in this room cannot figure out what one company of ours can compare to this company's. Does my premise make sense? Does my premise make sense? Please go ahead with me. Now, the question is, how then do you build in such a culture? This is, for those of us who do any cultural studies at any level, this is actually a scientific paper published by what they call the Hofstede Report. It's done by a global company called Impact Global, Cultural Impact Global. They actually do studies of different countries across the world. And what I decided to do was to compare the culture of Ghana to the East and the West and to see what our culture means and what that culture means for building business in our part of the world. Now, there are a few things I want to highlight in this and then I can emphasize. If you look at long-term orientation, right, the score of Ghana is 1 out of a scale point of 100. The Chinese score is 77. The American score 60, and the British scores are 60, and the American scores are 50 on a point of 100, and the Ghana score is 1. As I said, these are studies you can confirm, and these are credible studies that is accepted almost globally, right? So the first thing I want to emphasize is that it appears you're going to try and build a business for which long-term orientation, at least through some scientific process, is said to be low. Hello? Hello? Can we keep the energy in the room? Great. So, long-term orientation, we are low. Now, usually I'll pause and ask, take a wild guess. What do you think the next 20 years in the world looks like? And what are you going to do to contribute to the world in 20 years? And be fair with me, have you ever thought about that? Okay, so maybe one, two. How many of us in this room, in 20 years, maybe the average person in this room will be in their 40s, correct? 40s. You've thought about that? Or you'll be in your 40s, right? Now, that's supposed to be like the peak of life. And in that 40s, have you ever sat down to think carefully about what the long term means and what your journey towards that long term is? And many of us, the answer would be no. And the reason why the answer would be no is that many of us are fighting with bread and butter issues. So many of us want what I eat today. And so because I'm thinking of what to eat today, it's so difficult for me to sit down and think about what about, I can't even see what I'll eat tomorrow, least of all to think about 10 years from now, right? But if you ever embrace the challenge of being an entrepreneur, then the real task is the ability to stay and think long term and to be able to drive business value for the long term. Now, the first question I'm asking towards, are we being miseducated? Hello? Are we being miseducated? We all agree. Now, the question about education, the word education is from the root that means to draw out. But we've actually brought ourselves to a place where we think education is pouring in, right? And so education, educo, that's actually the root word of that word, which means to draw something out. But education is not drawing out anything. It's actually very intentional to what? To pour in. And with the view of pouring in, we've ended up pouring in a lot of chaff or things that were relevant to wealth that are completely useless to us, or things that were relevant for a certain time but is not relevant for our time, right? So we've caught ourselves in circles where we're learning skills and knowledge which may be very useful for a certain time back but completely useless for our time. Now, this is a study that was done by the World Economic Forum in the middle of COVID to ask ourselves in the next 5 years, what sort of learning is important for the world? This is before AI became a big thing, right? AI, ChatGPT was in November 2022. This study was in 2020. Now, the conversation about what is relevant for the world, there are 15 skills that the World Economic Forum came up with. And I'm going to ask you, please tell me whether they teach you any of this in school. Can we agree on that? So the first thing we have is critical thinking and analytical thinking and innovation. Do they teach you that in school? Oh, let's do a chorus. Do they teach you that in school? Some say yes, some say no. Some of it. Okay, the second one is active learning, how to learn. Do they teach you that in school? Okay. The third one we have is complex problem solving. Do they teach you that in school? Okay, the next one is analysis, critical thinking and analysis. The first one is analytical thinking and innovation. This one is critical thinking and analysis. Do they teach you that in school? Okay. The next one is creativity, originality, and initiative. Do they teach that in school? Then they are teaching you quite a bit in school, huh? Okay. The next one is leadership and social influence. Do they teach that in school? Okay. The next one is technology, monitoring and control. So the use and development of technology, monitoring and use of it. Do they teach that in school? The next one is programming. Do they teach technology programming in some schools, but in your school, do they teach you that? Depends on your course. Now, number 9 is resilience, stress, tolerance, and flexibility. Do they teach that? They teach that. Okay, the last one, reasoning and ideation. Do they teach that? Now, there are 5 others. What is the point I'm seeking to make? And this was in 2020 before AI, right? So before AI was a thing, the top 15 skills you needed to survive for the next 5 years, in many sense, are completely things no teacher will pull you down and teach you. Now, how then do we expect you to survive 2 years after this? AI came and everything you think you know can be made easier by a prompt. At least for the average person. So for all your 4-year education, it can be reduced to maybe 5, 10 prompts. Right? So what then becomes of your education? So for many of us, we spend time going through school for a completely useless life afterwards, because school will give us almost nothing relevant for the real world. And this is why forums like this is important. It's unfortunate that forums like this doesn't attract the mass. If it was Shatawale, Shatawale is my friend. He's a very respected person. I don't say that to suggest anything demeaning. But if you are Shatta here, trust me, this war will break down. True or false? Right? So there is a real conversation to be had as a people in terms of how then do we, please move me up. There's a real conversation then to be had if we understand. My journey starting with a historical problem where a group of youth 400 years after will still give a land that is 3 times bigger for lands that combined is 3 times lesser. And then the conversations went into how then do we build, because those lands have companies that are way bigger than anything we have ever done with our resources. And we're having a conversation about culture and education. Now, the real question is, after setting all of this, how then do you in this room go out and build a business, right? How then do you live beyond what the book tells you and become more relevant than what you're taught in class? The very first thing I want to say is that entrepreneurs are people who create from nothing, right? The very currency of life is learning to pull resource or value out of nothing. And what we actually mean when we say you're an entrepreneur is out of almost thin air, you are able to combine people, systems, processes in a certain context to give an output people like. And that word actually has a root in it. The word entrepreneur is French. It has a root in a director of a theater. Did you know that? So when we say entrepreneur, it's known as a business term, but it was actually an art term. It was a word that was used. So in Ghana, we'll probably say somebody like Uncle Ebo White, right? When the French spoke about an entrepreneur, they actually meant somebody who directs a stage play, somebody who has the ability to cast people, give them stories and narratives, or tell us a consistent story which we all like, right? Now, the real question is, how do you become such a good artist or somebody who manages a stage play in the way that the people you use, in the systems you employ, in the people you get in the structure, to give that value for any of the brands we're seeing there? All of them had the ability to combine people, systems, processes in that context in order to give the outcomes for which we all celebrate as big companies. So everything you're going to build, you're going to need people. Say with me, you're going to need people. Or say with me, you're going to need people. You're going to need systems. Say with me, you're going to need systems. You're going to need processes. And you're going to have to understand the context. You need to understand the context. Now, many of us get into entrepreneurship not because we sat down to combine people, processes, systems, and the context. We start selling Sobolo because we think that Sobolo is the new gig and everybody is jumping on Sobolo. Right? It's not because we've carefully thought about what structure makes for Sobolo in this context to make for a good business case. Please move me up. And usually our journey for many of us that start entrepreneurship is we start with a lot of energy. We have a lot of excitement, we have a lot of energy, and then we start and things dip real quick and we tell ourselves maybe we're in the wrong profession, right? But the real ability to build resilience and dominance is to have the ability to manage chaos. Say with me, the ability to manage chaos. I was telling somebody the other time maybe the best gift a school can give you is learning how to fail. True. But unfortunately, the A students never get that benefit of schooling because you never truly fail, so you don't know what it means to fail. But what it takes in the real world to build anything lasting, to learn to fail and to fail forward. Right? Because the energy we all get to start something. But when you get the energy to start, the real problems and the real world will come. The test about whether or not you'll be resilient is the real question. Please move me up. Now, there's a question of why the Japanese have the oldest countries. Did you know Japan has some of the oldest companies? Japan actually is a country that hosts companies that are the oldest. They have companies that are about 1,500 years old. Right? Why do the Japanese get to build businesses for it to last that long? Even if we could get brands like we saw in the beginning of the slides, and I asked you, how old are those brands? It probably will not be more than 25 years. Because in the 70s, we almost ended up, in the early 90s, we ended up killing all the businesses in the 70s. Recently, we've ended up killing all the businesses that, at least some of the businesses that started in the 1990s. And we are now having to learn to start again. So the real conversation is, how then do we learn to build businesses in the way that it does? And for us in this room, this becomes the ultimate thing. Please do not start a business if you do not honestly believe that you're in it for the long term. Right? The only reason why the Japanese business lasts that long is because it's intertwined with a philosophy they have about what they call ikigai, which is a sense of self and purpose. So for them, the reason why they wake up every morning is a question of what they are good at, is a question of what they love to do, is a question of what the market needs, and finally is a question of what they will be paid for. So many people will say, I love something. Yes, you may love football, but if you don't know how to play football, wanting to become a footballer is maybe foolish. Just maybe. Right? So not only must you love it, but you must be good at it. Not only must you be good at it, there must be a need for it. Not only must there be a need for it, it should be something that will be paid for in a way that you can build a sustainable business. So, one, if you're going to build anything, go with it with a long-term orientation. But when you do figure out a long-term orientation, you need to answer these 4 questions. Is this something I love? Is this something I am good at? Is this something that the market needs? And is this something that the market will pay for? Hello? Say with me, is this something I love? Is this something I am good at? Is this something the market will pay for? And is it something the market needs? Many of us don't get to answer these 4 questions before we start any journey. It will probably be important to pause and say, maybe in my school I realized that people need this. Maybe this thing people need, I am good at it. How about I try asking people, if I could do this for you, how much will you pay me? Maybe that is the beginning of how you build a business. Hello? Are you with me? Right. Please move me up. Tend to like my picture more than my slides, huh? Yes, please move me up. Right. Now, this is a narrative we've told ourselves for a long time. And I started by talking about this to say that we celebrated 400 years, right? The first enslavement happened in 1619. The arrival of the Portuguese was in 1471. By 1844, they were meeting in Germany to distribute us like a cake. and none of us were on, to create borders on the continent. In 1902, they were almost dominating the whole of current Ghana through the last war that was fought. World War, Second War, independence happened around 57. We're back to circles that appears were almost always subjugated. Now, what's the point I'm seeking to make with this? Anybody who is going to succeed at building anything would have to come to the realization of the simple question of man, know thyself, right? You're going to have to come to a place where you embrace your identity. Who am I? Because imagine Captain starting UT Bank without a sense of knowing who he was as a person. That company wouldn't have worked. It always takes a clear understanding, because sometimes you're going to build processes and systems in a way that it comes to you naturally, right? So your clear understanding of who you are is important in order to embrace the reality. And out of this, please move me up. Out of this, there's been problems that has been created. The first problem is that if I am selling this microphone and I tell you it's made by Kantanka, and I tell you there's a German version, which one will you choose? Be honest with me. German version, right? Why have you come to that conclusion? Without having to test what Kantanka does, you're naturally deferring to a German brand without trying Kantanka, because inherent is a trust. You've been conditioned over years to trust a brand other than yours. So the real point I'm making is that if you understand that what we're trying to build goes way back to a historical task, if you start any business, your problem is not fighting for market in UNIMAC. You're fighting with a mindset for people close to you who would buy something other than yours. Am I making sense? If, let's say, I sew, and I tell this beautiful lady I have a dress, and which is Louis Vuitton or any of the luxury brand from Paris, she's more likely to defer to those brands, because holding a bag from a Ghanaian bag maker, it's not as luxurious and does not give a status as much as holding a bag on which is written LV. Guys, am I making sense? Am I in the wrong room? Am I making sense? Now, the real question is, if you know that in building a business, there is a reason why UT was called Unique Trust. There's a reason why trust was part of the name. Because the missing link in anything you want to do is trust. The reason why I probably won't buy anything from you is because I don't trust you. The reason why you invited Captain and not probably any other person is because you trusted him. The reason why Captain asked me to come because he couldn't come is because he trusted me. It's always going to be a fun. AJ is here as your moderator because you trust her. Counselor is here because you trust him, or the organizers do. And my brother Dako is here because there is an element of trust. The real currency in business is not money. The real currency is trust. Say with me, trust. And as a people, we've been conditioned so loud to grow out of trust, such that we almost say you trust a Ghanaian to your own detriment, right? So if a Ghanaian says, Shasro, somebody says something here, I want to hear. One for my diabeto and you know, right? How have we become a people that want to build sustainable businesses but are so low in trust? How have we built a low trust environment and expect businesses to work when actually the real currency of businesses is not necessarily money but trust? Because I said that entrepreneurs build by first people, processes, systems, and the context. The people you need to be able to trust them in order to build. And here you are with people you can't trust. How then do you build a business? Ask your friend, how then do you build a business? Now, trust has three simple elements, right? If you say you trust anybody, invariably you're saying three things, if even you're not aware of it. The very first one is you're saying is that you trust them for a certain outcome. They are competent to generate a certain outcome. So the very first reason for trust is that you won't go to a plumber for a chair, will you? Why? Because plumbers don't fit chairs. So you don't expect anybody to trust you with anything, including the pitching section, to trust you with their money, if first you do not show competence. That's not how it works. And many of us do not spend time to build competence. So if you want to be great, if you want to build anything, you first need to be good at it. It's a no-brainer. Right? You need to be good at it. Spend years learning to be good. Build competence. Say with me, build competence. You're in a communication school. You want to be a PR person. Build competence. Whatever you want to do, competence is the foundation. Without it, nobody can trust you. Your mother or father may have the best money, but hire somebody else to do something they could have hired you for and given you money for if they don't trust you. So trust is fundamental. Without it, nothing, trust cannot be built on incompetence. It is not possible. Will you go to a doctor and allow somebody who is not certified as a medical doctor to operate on you? No. So it doesn't matter the nice logo of the hospital. Without a good competence, without competence, the business won't work. Right? Hello? The second element of trust is consistency. If you go to Auntie Muni to buy wache, the reason why you go every Saturday is because you know every Saturday it will taste the same. Right? So you end up queuing every morning for executive wache. You think that is a habit, but invariably you just trust to go to them all the time because it's quality. When I asked about the German and Kantanka, we differ because consistently we get a certain outcome that we want. Right? So if you want to be trusted, build competence, but not competence in a way that one day you're good, one day you're not. If, for example, I ever have to speak somewhere and somebody gets a vibe that, oh, some days that guy is good, some days he's not, Captain won't send me here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you need to be able to get the value consistently all the time. But with you, some days we get good quality service with your Sobolo business. Some days you tell me if I won't buy, I should go. The third day I feel like Sobolo, I will go somewhere. I'll go and buy Coke. Because at least Coke there. Or the Sobolo, one day the ginger is punchy. The next day it looks like there is plenty sugar. Do you know when you open Coke, the fizzy sound is actually even tested for. So there's sound, even the sound of how the Coke, the fizzy sound, it's actually engineered for. You didn't know that? Yes, that sound is actually engineered for. And you get that all the time. So we need to build in some consistency. Tell your friend some consistency. Build some consistency. Not today you're hot, tomorrow you're cold. Build some consistency. Tell them not today you're hot, tomorrow you're cold. Build some consistency. And then the last one is character, integrity. There's a crisis of integrity like it's never happened before. Go to a mechanic right here and tell him my car is broken. Fix it. He'll come and bring you a bill for something he never bought. Why can't you tell me it's 500, I will charge you 500? Why do you tell me, Master, the things I bought is 1,000? And then, because I like you, I won't charge you anything. Higher warranty. But that's the basis of killing you, huh? So the baseline is that if you can be a person that is competent, that is consistently competent, and has integrity, then I can almost guarantee you your business will succeed. I can almost guarantee you. I can guarantee you. Because the currency of business is trust. So when people can grow to trust you, people will recommend you to other people. So your circles begin to grow. And word of mouth, which you know as marketers, is the primary source of growing anything. Word of mouth will grow. You begin to grow because people trust you for a certain outcome and will keep coming to you. How many of us here can say boldly that they can be trusted for something? Let me see your hand. What can you be trusted for? What good work? What can you be? Photographer. So I can trust you for good photography. With character. What's your name? What's your brand name? Mary's Photography. Mary's Photograph. Barry's Photograph. Okay. I will put you to a challenge. See me after here. What brand, what can I trust you for? Of course, we know AJ, so AJ, I won't call you. AJ, we can trust you for many things that we know. Yes, what can I trust you for? You can import goods for me. Okay, what goods can you import for me? Anything, including dead human beings. Anything electrical outfit. Why is that a value to start with? Why won't I get that in Melcom? Why is your importation better than Melcom? Affordable. Can I trust the quality? China, grade 1. My budget. But with that budget, I'll get it from Melcom. Okay. Now I'm doing a simple exercise, right? Please, maybe if there's time, let's value prove your proposition, right? So again, it comes to competence. You may think that something is incredible, but it may not exactly prove, it may not pass the proof of value test, right? So he says photography. She says she's into importation. Who else? What can I trust you for? What can I trust you for? Sound. You're a sound guy. At least you are the one behind and I'm okay. So that should be enough. But you have character. If I say show up at 6, will you? I shouldn't ask your boss. I'm asking you. You show up at 6. What's your brand name? Sound Shock. I like the shock part of the sound. The sound will shock me. You are a DJ. Oh, interesting. Oh, any other last brand? What can I trust you with? Yes, ma'am. Okay. You cook. Okay, what's your brand name? Pokers. Burkina. So you do Burkina. Okay. Do you have some here? Now, there's a last one here. Okay, he didn't raise his. Okay, Kelvin, you are the guy behind the. Okay, I see you. What do you do? You are. That's interesting. How do you do that? Let's talk afterwards. How long have you been doing that? Interesting. Now, all of the things we're saying, right? there's a reason the organizers will tell you I was very fussy about time. What time should I be here? And I was here on the neck of time. Because the sum of our lives, and I'm sure anybody who knows anything about captain, time is like primary. Because you see, the day you are born, the day you die, all the things in between is what? Time. And the foundation of building trust, building a company, building anything is time. I was actually supposed to be somewhere. I had to let another lawyer go because Captain summoned me yesterday to say, you have to be here. And I said, yes, sir. Right? Time is the one thing we all don't have enough of. But the one thing we don't use for anything in this world, in this part of our world. Right? Can you multiply the number of people here by the time we spent here? And can you imagine if, for example, we decided to go and say we're just weeding to plant cassava? What we would have done in that time. What I am saying is that if you're doing anything with your life and time in a way that is not measurable to an outcome, you're literally committing suicide. It's important, counselor, it's important the person called you and says, I want to commit suicide. The sad part is that all of us commit suicide almost every day without coming to the crisis point of saying, I want to actively pull the gun. But we use the time for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the real question is, if time is not valuable to you, then what will be? Because time is a sum of life. And all we all are is time. Time is a summary of every single thing. So why does time not mean anything to us? Can anybody give me a perspective? Maybe it will help me. Why does time not mean anything to us? I would like a perspective. Because my dream was, yes ma'am, help me.
It is made to understand that God does everything in his own time. And so even when things delay, we are made to believe that, oh, God wants it to be done this way. We planned it at 2 p.m., but we are done it at 4. Let's thank God, at least we are alive. So first of all, I believe that it is the mindset. Religiously, we are made to believe that, okay, this is how it should go. So we inculcate that in everything we do, even when it's the most important things in our lives.
Thank you. That's a very powerful perspective to say, maybe religion is conditioned us to believe in a God who is believed in us to give us life, right? So God trusted us with life, but we say, well, God, the time you gave me, you know my favorite part of the Bible, the story of the talents. He gives some 5, he gives some 1. The 1 goes and buries it. The 5 makes a 10, and then the 1 says, because I feared you, you're a wicked man. So I hid it. I'm not here to preach. I could do that, but I'm not here to preach, right? So she says, just maybe we've been conditioned to think that, well, nyame dia de ofana bo onto ntem. Na nyame bo no kofa wen. Na nyame beto bo adan. Na nyame bo wo a obeyeye. So just maybe we've been cultured to think that we don't need time. But time is the functional, not only trust. So I'm talking about the currencies for building business. I'm speaking about trust. I'm speaking about time. Time is what we all harness. So if you want to be, let's say, anything, photographer, he literally poured time into learning the skill, right? And then he will use that skill to buy money and maybe hire somebody else. Then he has 2 times the time he could have done. He would use those 2 times to trade for more money, hire maybe 2 people more, which is a time output of 4 people. Every good company is a factor of time. And we don't think of it like that. Every good company is only a factor of time. If you have more time, you get more done. The only reason why I could be here is because I could get another lawyer to go for the meeting. It's a function of time. If I couldn't afford that, I won't be here. So please tell your friend, take time seriously. Please move me up. I think I'm on my last slide. Yes. Please tell your friend, take time seriously. Please tell them, take time seriously. This is my last slide. And this is to say, end where I started. If you're ever going to build a business, understand that we have a historical task. And if your business is not solving one of these 5 problems, your business needs to rethink about how to build business in Ghana or in Africa or in this context. The very first historical task we have is poverty. We've been impoverished, part by our culture, part by systems. And any business we're building in this time must have a clear thinking around how to solve the poverty problem. I'm also in this giving a sense of how to think about businesses. Whatever business you're doing, the ultimate outcome should be creating wealth and solving the poverty problem. And so for whatever you're doing, if you're not thinking of it in employing the systems, the people, the processes to solve this historical task, then there is a bit of a problem. The second historical task we have is folly. Right? You know what folly is? It's not the name of a guy, or it's Jimmy. Right? There's so much but there's minka. Sometimes it's baffling, like say na ya dwen ye say like ya dwen as insisi so eno dey ya wona oka on as a dwen no ya dwen na chia o kwan bi so but o che ni say oh e bia ya dwen hu say ya no aside did you atemaka ho no na ba ni say na unkwan ba ni say na unkwan o dwen say like adan ebi I want to tibo form kakra ana bibi. So we have a real problem to solve for folly. We have a real task to help to think clearly, clarity of thinking, like clarity of thinking, consistent, critical, analytical, pure thinking. Just to be able to sit down and think, like think. But do you agree with me there is a bit more to go? Can we commit in this room that at least we would work at becoming a little wiser? Can we commit to that? Oh, talk to me. Can we commit to that? It's important because without it, you can't build a business. You need some wisdom. When I came here, he was telling us if you can't sell, you can't do anything. And that is so primary and that is so fundamental to business. But I would rather learn classics. It is not to say classics is not important. But if you cannot sell classics, it doesn't make sense. So, can we learn to think? I mean, just like we learn to put food in our mouth, can we learn to put wisdom in our brain? Hello? So whatever business you're building must be solving the knowledge, wisdom problem. Because there's so much wisdom deficit that we need to build businesses that solves it. There's a reason why businesses would defer to, let's say, McKinsey or I was quoting World Economic Forum, right? Those people have been credited to have wisdom. They build consistency and they are trusted for knowledge and wisdom. Why can't it be that, oh, I read a Sumpa and Partners report, and so that has as much insight like, let's say, McKinsey? We need to build wisdom. The third thing is sycophancy. Please understand that, they say bootlicking, right? That's the best way we say it. Everybody says yes sir to everybody, not because they mean it, but because they want to get something from you. Can we be straight talkers? Can we be honest people that just do not scheme around people? Can you agree that in building your business, you will not scheme to dupe people, just to go around people? If you work in a company, you will not be a sycophant. You just do your work with excellence. Is it too much to ask for? Is it too much to ask for? And then corruption. When I asked what are the brands in Ghana, somebody said corruption here before he left outside. Right? Corruption is a big problem. Big problem. It's something you must solve. And then the last one is lack of respect for human beings. We like to say, oh, we like people, we like ourselves, we're a loving country, we're a welcoming country. But go to the hospital and see people dying on the floor. And if we had any modicum of respect for human life, we wouldn't allow pregnant women to give birth on the floor and lie on the floor. It's simply because we don't respect human life. We don't value human life. So at the core of it, if you're building a business and you don't have respect built in it, you won't serve the people well. All of customer service, you go on TikTok and there are videos about customer service and they will call a Ghanaian customer service and it's almost like we are all laughing because it's true. Because no one respects anybody. Can we all agree to build businesses that respects the customer? Can we all agree on that? And if you can learn to solve those historical tasks, then you can build a business that thrives not only in your time, but that passes these values on for a long time. I'll end with this. How many of us have heard of the placebo effect? Placebo is actually a medical term. It's actually medical science. This is not fiction. When you watch the movie Matrix, they actually give you a red and a blue pill, right? Placebo is actually science, medical science, that basically says that they'll give you a sugar pill, for example, or a pill that has no effect. And then people would actually get better by taking pills that has no effect on their medical condition. And it's one of the things about medical science people still struggle to understand. How does medical science get people to take pills that scientifically should have no effect on the outcomes on how they look or how their well-being should be, but they actually become better by taking a sugar pill? Have you heard of that before? How? Why does somebody take a pill for a headache and it has no property that should connect to the healing of the headache, and yet they get better? It's because they've been primed to think that the medicine will heal them, and it actually does. The opposite effect is called a nocebo, which is exactly what Counselor talked about. Listening to the audio over and over again placed her in a condition to accept what she had heard. What we listen and believe is the foundational thing about who we are and what we build as a people. We've been conditioned to think we were slaves. We've been conditioned to think we were doing nothing until some Caucasians came and saved us. We've been conditioned to think we're a miserable people at the help of the world. And so we have built nothing and we've proven the world right. I came to shout, please go to the last slide. I came to tell you something different. And I really hope you can believe it. I finished uni in 2009. I did actuarial science. I was supposed to do my national service at the National Insurance Commission. I was not. I was posted to Zoom Lion in Sunyani. I went to Zoom Lion. The first assignment I was given is to sit with drivers in the Zoom Lion track to measure fuel, because drivers were stealing the fuel. So I spent my first 3 months in national services sitting in Bola track, right? And yet I was a founding president for Actuarial Science Society in UCC. That was the most crushing time in my life, but the most learning I ever had. Because in that simple experience, I learned to connect with people far more than what my pride and hubris thought was important. I learned to understand that simple things like measuring tonnage of garbage is important for measuring. And in that national service was the beginning for trying to change a lot of things in my life, for which years after, I'm not a person of privilege. I don't have privilege. But I've been fortunate to know that if you believe and you work at it, God will show you favor and it is possible to build. So it doesn't matter what you've believed for the years. Building a business is possible. I haven't spoken about money because I don't think money is the problem. I can help you fundraise now if your idea is in the money. And when I say idea is in the money, an idea I can trust and guarantee would work, I will personally go out and look for funds for you. So money is not a problem. Money is actually not a problem. But we all think that money is the problem. At the core of the problem is a lack of trust. At the core of the problem is that we don't build great things because we don't use time for anything. At the core of the problem is that we've been conditioned to think like slaves, and so we behave like one. And so I came to tell you that if we can condition ourselves to think differently, we can condition ourselves to wake up to see that life is bigger than a 4-year degree. It's about giving value to the world. It's about the principle of ikigai. What am I purposeful and useful for? And start aligning all your time. What am I good at? What would the market pay? If you can align on those things and channel all your energies on that, you will build a business that works. If you overcome our historical task of poverty, of sycophancy, of lack of respect for human life, of all the things we've spoken about, then you will build a business that works. And so this is my message for today. It may not have been, I could have easily gone to the classroom and taught you about financing, but it won't matter if the foundations are wrong. And I hope that this conversation is useful to you. Is it useful to you? Talk to me, is this conversation useful to you? I really hope that you make it worth something. This is the name of our firm. We do consulting, training, and law. For those of you who are here, that's our email, sompa@sompalaw.com. If you have anything you want to share with us, any way we can help you, don't hesitate to send us an email, sompa@sompalaw.com. That's my personal number is available. I return all my phone calls 100%. 024-273-0632. And because it's a social media world, we are only active on LinkedIn at Sompa and Partners. So check us out. And we hope we're useful to you. And we wish you well. It's a long-term orientation. Don't think about now and here. Think about 20 years from now and rise up and build a business with it. Again, we appreciate the organizers for the opportunity. Do have a good afternoon.
A look back on our impact. At InMe Global, we believe entrepreneurship is a powerful path to financial independence. Success, however, isn't a solo journey. That's why we emphasize the power of networking and mentorship, essential pillars that provide aspiring entrepreneurs with . Prince Kofi Amwabin, born in 1952, is a retired Army captain, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, UK, and a celebrated Ghanaian entrepreneur. He caused a paradigm shift in the lending industry in Ghana by founding Unique Trust Financial Services with 3 employees and grew it into a robust holding company, UT Holdings, with several subsidiaries both locally as well as in Africa and Europe. He is the founder of PK Amwabin Leadership Foundation, whose purpose is changing and developing the mindset of the new generation of leaders and those in leadership as they traverse the leadership journey. This purpose is achieved through the PK Amwabin Leadership Scholar Program, an intense 1-year program expected to produce industry leaders imbued with a strong sense of patriotism, innovative leaders, problem solvers, creative thinkers, and knowledgeable in their respective fields of endeavor. Captain Prince Kofi Amwabin is the proud author of 3 best-selling books: The UT Story, Volume 1, Humble Beginnings, The UT Story, Volume 2, Building a Winning Team, and The UT Bank Story, Volume 3, Fateful Decisions. In his own famous words, he said, "If you strongly believe God got your back, you will never be perturbed by the challenges. Actually, you should be excited, because the bigger the challenge, the bigger the victory."
Hi, I am Captain Prince Kofi Amwabe, retired, and chairman of the PK Amwabin Leadership Foundation. I was looking forward to our meeting today, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I've had to really miss the opportunity, but assigned my task to my very, very capable young man. Now, I have to leave you with some words. And I appreciate the fact that at UNIMAC, you guys are trying to acquire essential education to let you be of relevance to the world and to be able to impact the world. So kudos to you. The issue that we're trying to discuss is, after the books, what's next? Now, I'll share my small philosophy with you, and it is simply this. We come into this world with nothing. We're going to go out of this world with nothing. But whilst we're in this world, we are supposed to acquire worldly things, that's the things of this world, and use that to create a positive impact on the world, and then leave it and go. Now, what you're doing is the right thing, because to be able to create the right impact, 1, you must stay healthy. 2, and most importantly, you must acquire the right values. So if you don't have the right values, you only cause negative impact. With the right values, you can always cause positive impact. Apart from the values, you need to acquire education. That's why I appreciate all of you for being in your colleges and trying to acquire the right education. Because without education about this world, you cannot impact the world, because you don't know about the world. Then you have to acquire worldly things: love, family, money, whatever it is. The essential part is what you use, what you've acquired in this world, to impact the world before you leave the world. And therefore, the title is very apt: Beyond the Books. Beyond the books, what happens? What do you do with what you've acquired in the books? Now, some of you may be ready after school to cause an impact. Some of you may be able to cause an impact after a year, or 2 years, or 5 years. And some of you never give up, maybe after 20 years, because they feel the real impact. I started Unique Trust at the age of 45, after I've been through university. I've been a chartered accountant. I've been in business for about 15 years, and it took me all that time before I started Unique Trust, which most people identify me with. So it's about patience, it's about humility, it's about love for people, it's about making sure that you always take the right decisions. And it is about your values, that you love people, you respect everybody, you respect time, you respect institutions, and respect systems. because nobody is better than the other person. It's all by the grace of God, and we are all His creation. Therefore, no one should be left behind. And so, on this note, I want to tell you that I'm with you in spirit. I'll find time to be with you before your whole years are over at UNIMAC, and we will share some memorable moments. But for now, please excuse me for not being there. And my love is with you, and I'm with you in spirit. May God bless us all. Thank you very much.
And that was absolutely amazing. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, again, for a very amazing speaker, Lawyer Sompa. Now, I'm sure we all have questions at some point for him and for all our different speakers. So as we wind it down, we're going to open it up and do a Q&A for any question you want to pose to any of our speakers. Then they would brilliantly answer it. Then we can now start winding down today's very exciting activity. So anyone has any questions? Now you must have some questions based on that amazing presentation. So your name and what question you want.
Please, my name is Naki. I want to ask Dr. Nshiraba. He said that you don't need money to start a business. I know he doesn't mean it that way, but some of us have the idea of some business ideas that we can bring out, but then we find it difficult to get access to some support, or the money to start the business is sometimes a difficulty. So I don't know how to go about with that, if he can help me. Oh, okay. For me, I'm actually interested in beauty product.
What beauty product do you want to sell?
I like to sell facial creams.
Are you making it or you're importing?
Pardon?
Are you making it or you're importing?
Am I making it or importing it? No, I don't have anything. I don't have
Do you know
anything
how
as
to
at
make
now.
the creams?
No, please. Yes.
You don't, so you import it.
Yes, please.
There are different people importing.
Yeah.
So why will I buy from you and not the importer on the market already?
Okay, since the product is not mine, what I can do is to be able to know a lot about the product. Even the products are out there, but they still need people to work with. They still need people to bring it to the market. So I think I also have the capability to put the product out there and introduce it to people. I know how to do marketing, and then I think that also, yes.
If you had a brand you were making, I would have given you money to start myself, right? You see, the problem is not money, it's idea in the money. That was my exact statement. Of course, there are a lot of people who want money and they don't have. But there are a lot of money chasing good ideas and money is there. So the real problem is not that you don't need money. You actually need a lot of it, actually. But money chases good ideas. Ideas in the money. Right? Which is why you need to foolproof that idea until somebody who has money will trust you with their money to say, I can trust you with your money, because if it goes into this business, it will bring back that money plus a return to you and to me. Until you can answer the question, if my money goes into your business, will it come back? Will it come back to you alone? Will it come back to you and me? Until you can answer that question, you don't need money. Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Please.
Are you sure? Okay, please.
Okay. Sorry. Actually, I want to ask, with the entrepreneurship, are you emphasizing on doing it yourself, like bringing out something, being creative, other than maybe, pardon?
Go ahead.
Yes, other than maybe having a skill or maybe the ability to also help in a way. I know entrepreneurship is doing something on your own, but then I want to know if it's you bringing out something different or something unique that you mean by entrepreneurship.
That's a very good question. And it's a good question on very different layers, right? Let me start from here. Now, it's about value. I tell people this all the time, that I would have been wrong if Mark Zuckerberg came to me and says, I want to create a portal, and all people will do is to submit pictures, and that the business will be worth $1 billion. But give me only $100, and I'll give you 50% of this business. I would have told him he was mad. I won't give him, right? But I would have been completely wrong, because I would have missed the value of that portal being people's self-expression, and by that knowing of themselves, marketers can now hop on, and the real value is not the portal, but the information to go and sell for marketing. So when we say entrepreneurship, it's not only the ability to do it yourself, but sometimes the ability to harness people, systems, processes to create value ultimately, right? So let's say your hair product, you don't know how to do hair or cream. That's fine. You can actually be a great entrepreneur in cosmetics and beauty, which is actually a big business for that. There are women in the north. I was in the north maybe a month ago. Share, everybody knows Share has properties that goes, if you go to Europe, 25% share or 30% share is big money. Yet it's on the floor here. Now, there are a lot of businesses trying to build on that value chain. There are businesses in the north that makes turnover that would make you insane. So, for example, if you understood the share value chain enough, you had somebody in Europe who would buy share from you, and you could get women in the north who would sell share to you alone, and you could control demand and supply. It doesn't matter that you know how to do the cream. You're still in business because you know who will buy, you know who will sell to you. So you're in the middle, but you still have a working business. So business is really not that I can do it with my hands alone, but the ability to orchestrate value in a way that you command both demand and supply. That's basic economics. They will tell you draw a line, and where they meet, demand and supply meets is a price point. It's so foundational, but it's so important, except that our economics teachers haven't taught us well, right? So it's always demand and supply. If you can create demand, the reason why TikTok is making people, big business people, we think they are social media influencers, is because they are creating demand. They know how to create demand. And every business wants demand because people will have to buy, irrespective of how good it is. So if you can create demand, if you can control supply, you are in business. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so we have some more. Okay, so
Please, one very last question. I was supposed to ask.
Is that for your friend as well?
No. For that one is for my friend.
It's
This
a
one
joke.
is-
Don't take me seriously.
This one is for me. No, I know. Okay, so I would want to ask, you see, right now we are in a digital world where cryptocurrency is one thing we do right now, we get involved in. So would you say that cryptocurrency is a good investment to make, or it is one thing that is very wrong to do? Because right now, like you said, the ability for you to control both supply and demand is one thing that you should be able to consider while getting into business. So would you say that cryptocurrency is a wrong investment or a right one?
That's also another good question. Let me start from the legal side. Bank of Ghana is trying to regulate it. They say they will regulate it by October. That sort of opens the market for a more progressive conversation. Is it a business like forex trading? When people ask me, is forex trading a good business? Of course, there is demand and supply, but the volatilities are a bit too much. Okay, step down. I buy crypto at $1 today. tomorrow is 1 cent. I've lost 90 cents. I buy $1 today, tomorrow is $2. I've gained $1. There's nothing that actually controls. I don't have any control about how the market moves, right? So if I'm courageous enough and I understand the trend of the market, I keep telling people, if you study the currency of Ghana to the dollar, what is happening is a big blip. Because since 1998, the CD on the average depreciates about 18% if you weed out the noise of the market. And here we are appreciating about 80% in a quarter, right? If you understand the market enough and you think that you can be in that market and succeed, I wish you well. I don't. Right? I don't. I'm as conservative as it gets. And so maybe because I was a traditional banker, I'm as conservative as it gets. But it does not mean if you understand the market enough, it won't make good sense. Except that you need to understand the market. Because sometimes the markets have patterns. So if you know the factors that drive the risk in those markets, and you know how to mitigate your risk in those markets, I wish you well, right? But if you're just going to gamble for an upside, then please, maybe football betting may be a better choice. No, I'm serious. Because that one, you can know, say, Councillor is gone. Manchester United, they shall. So maybe they go score them. Right? So maybe that is a bit more predictable. I've seen people throw away money at different coins. People will make different coins on X, and people will throw money at it, and you realize that there is no real value on it. Crypto also offers very good use cases. So there are good use cases for which people are putting money in. But as I'm saying, if you're going to gamble on an upside, simply by gambling on the upside, then it is not a good investment. But if you spend time to study the market and you understand the market enough to play in that market and win, then by all means. Have I answered your question?
All right, before we take the last question, we would like to acknowledge Dr. Mrs. Eleanor Araba Enchi, Deputy Registrar and Director of Human Resources. Please, let's clap for her. And then also we have Na Bole Into, sorry if I got the name wrong, Faculty Officer for Journalism. Please, let's give it up for them. All right, so we'll take the last question.
So please, my question is, I have tried a business before, but then at some point it failed, and it's not it's necessarily my fault, because I realized that the demand on my profit is very high, and at the end of the day, I ended up squandering my capital. So I weighed the business and working for a private sector. And I realized at that moment, working for a private sector was actually working for me, because they get to provide me with food and accommodation. Meanwhile, when I was doing the business, I was providing all of them for myself. Now, here is the case. I really want to go back into business, but then I have found myself in the university where I am taking care of myself. And leaving the private sector is very dangerous for me, because one, I have a fear in me. I have tried before and it failed. And trying again, it scares me sometimes. So I really found myself in a tight corner where I really don't know how to navigate myself around. Because living there, that means the pressure I experienced back when I was doing business is gonna come back to me again. And then I really want to do a business, because I realize staying and working and then schooling at the same time is really draining me. There are some seminars I would love to attend, but then at the end of the day, it's a working hour which I can't attend. And I really don't blame my bosses, because they have given me a chance to pursue my education. So how do I navigate myself around?
Thank you. There are different layers to the question. Very important questions. My first reaction is that we're all afraid, right? Imagine you're a Chinese, you board a plane, you come to some country in West Africa, and then you land in Accra and you go to Sefi Bekwaye and you sit in the middle of the forest to a people who speak a different language from you, and you mine their gold in the middle of the forest, right? Or imagine Nestle when they started out and says, we need to do chocolate, but cocoa doesn't grow up in Switzerland, but it does in your grandmother's farm in Sefi Bekwaye. And they set all the way out and come here looking for cocoa farms and buy cocoa and must find a way to take it back and do chocolate, right? It's going to be fearful wherever you sit, right? So fear is actually normal. If you're not afraid, maybe then the dream is not big enough, right? 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with a lawyer in our firm, and I was asking her, what's the most audacious thing you've ever done? Like something you were doing and you were so scared. Like, what's the most frightening thing you've ever done in your life? I'm sure if we ask some of us, it will be jumping a boy's wall, right? Or jumping a girl's wall, right? So fear is actually necessary. So that's the first layer in answering your question. If you're not afraid, then maybe the vision or the dream is not big enough. So culture the fear, right? Embrace the fear and say that if you go to Kwao, can you imagine the guy they give the contract to build the road from Nkoko to the top of the mountain? When you stood at the base and looked at the mountain and you're supposed to carve a road in the middle of that mountain, have you imagined what went through his mind to say, where am I going to start from? And yet, every Easter, we all drive up the mountain and do Kwao, right? So it's going to be difficult. It's a fact. It's going to be messy. But embrace it. That's the journey. That's why I said you must be a master of mastering chaos, because it's chaotic, as my friend would say. It's a lot of chaos. Huh? So the fear is normal, which leads me to my second layer of your question. Just maybe not everybody is built to be an entrepreneur. Everybody can learn to be, but maybe we've built a lot of fun. We fantasized building a business such that people are giving 8 to 5 jobs that are actually stable, that are actually good for them in pursuit for entrepreneurship when they are probably not cut out for it. So my second layer is that the fact that you work in a structure that works, there is nothing wrong with it. The more important question you should ask yourself is that, why do I want to pursue this business? And does this business actually work? And if you can prove the value and you can give yourself certainty that the value is important, then the real question is, how then do you do it? Can you start doing it without having to leave? Must you necessarily leave? Maybe building a restaurant, somebody says they are into food business. Must you leave? Can you start building demand and culturing demand before you leave? Can you start trying to see, can I test the supply? What does it take to make this product? Can you try it out? Which then comes to time management. How do you use your time? Maybe after 8 to 5, you say, well, I'm tired, and you go and sleep. But maybe if you break the 8 to 5 into 3 cycles, you can do 3 jobs assuming you're not sleeping. If you sleep for 8 hours, you still have an additional 8 hours remaining, right? So you should effectively be able to do 2 jobs if you're actually sleeping for even 8 hours, assuming commute time is even 2 hours in between. Am I making sense? But we realize that the time goes somewhere we can't account for. And so if you can account for your time in a way that says, yes, I do 8 to 5, but I'm left with how many, if you take 8 out of 24, how many more? I'm still left with 16 hours in a day. What are you trying to build? A spaceship? No, talk to me. If you were supposed to use even 2 hours every day in that business, you don't have to stop. In 1 week, that is 10 hours, assuming you're working Monday to Friday alone on that new business. If you're pouring 10 hours into a new business on the side, a week, in 40 weeks, that's 400 hours. Do you know what output that would be? So except that we say we want to do it, but the real work, we get caught up in the fanciful conversations. So if you want to build a business, I'll say do it. It doesn't mean you need to stop, embrace the fear, but sit down and cut out the emotions and be practical, right? This is where you get into the thinking cap. Think, what do I need to do? What are the forces of demand? What are the forces of supply? What can I do today to culture demand and supply? Who do I speak to today to build up my business a little up? And do that until the business is sustainable enough where you can leave the work. In 2021, I was head of operational risk and market risk at one of the banks. And I went to my boss and said, well, I want to leave. True story. And I remember my boss telling me carefully, poverty is more painful than anything. So I beg, be careful you want to leave. And I was like, I want to leave. And we started a law firm some 4 years ago, right? I could only leave because I had taken time to plan. I had worked in that system for maybe, at the time I was leaving 4 years ago, it was about 12 years. I had worked in three financial services at the very top for maybe early years aside, but consistently for 12 years. So when I come and tell you how money is raised, because I've been in a position making decisions about who gets money. If I tell you this is how to build a business, now I can apply it to my business because I know how the multinationals do it, because I sat in the meetings when they made those decisions. So being in a working environment is actually good for you, right? Captain says he was 45 years when he started UT. Ask yourself, where was he for the first 44 years of his life? If even you take the first 20, he joined the military at 21 or so, right? For the 20 years in between, where was he? So sometimes going through that structure helps you learn, helps you build the right relationships, helps you refine your idea until you can foolproof a value that works. I hope I've answered your question, but I wish you well, right? I wish you well.
Okay, please. I have 2 questions to ask. So my first question is, will you take the risks? Will you do anything to find money? So my point is, I started business when I was 18. That was 2021. I started selling dresses. And I realized that people were just buying it and they were not paying. So I stopped. And then 2022, I started my pre-order business. So when I started the pre-order business, it was going on well. Then the dollar started to flip. I realized it wasn't going to help me 100% in 2023. So I started my project in trying to build a store. Because, let me give an example. I get this bag there for 37 cedis. Ghana here will be sold to you at 80 cedis. So I started asking myself, why don't I invest more in getting the goods myself, just like I can get the reefer and then get the original one. And now my problem is, who will support me? That's why I'm asking you that, would you take any risks for money?
Good context, and I like your experience. You tried, you're trying, keep trying. Will you do anything for money? Ordinarily, you shouldn't. There should be a value system. I won't do everything for money, right? Because honestly, money is important till a certain level. We have a certain baseline after which any CD added does not really improve the quality of life you have. So at a certain level, money is actually very, very important, because without it, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you don't have enough. life is really miserable below a certain line. But at a certain point, money shouldn't be the baseline for making certain decisions, because at that point, whether you have 100 million or 10 million may not really make an output in life. However, money is, if you're going to make a big impact, talk about this conference, for example. The host had to probably hire the space. The host will probably pay the speakers. That's a lot of money. So depending on the nature of the vision, you may actually need a lot of money, and you may have to, as one of the speakers said, be humble enough to go through the motions of building wealth, which sometimes take a lot of humility. Don't do anything evil or anything that is against your value system simply because you want money, right? So that's my first answer. Now, when it comes to your business and how to raise funds for your business, which is the second layer of your question, I hear. If the kind of funds we raise for people is usually not for trade, right? So, because I personally don't think it's a sustainable business. It's an important business, but there are funds that are towards different things. So, if you want to raise funds, for example, for a business like yours, which is importing and selling things, usually your suppliers are your ultimate persons. They control your business. If China, the person you're buying from, is the ultimate thing. Maybe because you're dealing in smaller quantities, you don't have a direct, you go on Alibaba and you just order and then they bring you the things. If you can culture relationships at the supply end where you can control significant supply, now you can negotiate credit terms and arrangements that make sense. But your business is not as much as important as the demand. If, for example, you ordered a full container of bags, who will you sell it to? Who will you sell it to? So maybe your business is really knowing who to sell to and creating a market that exists. If you can tell me that I have a market of 100,000 people and I can sell you 100,000 bags in the end of the year, it doesn't matter that I don't like trading, I'll probably give you money. How many bags did you sell last month? How many bags did you sell last month? Last month. Do you keep records of what you sell? The reason why I'm asking the question, when I said if she can show me a demand, I'll probably give her money. She says she has a demand, right? But now she's telling me she doesn't even keep the record. So how do I believe that indeed there's a track record of having sold these bags over the years? So from now, right, show a track record of what your business growth is. And if you truly can control demand, money, you see, sometimes we demonize the banks. But I tell you, most of them have a lot of money they don't know what to do with. Absa Bank, I'm mentioning their name, is doing something with MasterCard. They are giving up to $1 million to people, and I know people who are young people assessing loans up to $1 million. But you must prove a record. And yes, find people who know there are businesses around whose job is to help people fundraise. So speak to people, find the right relationships, and raising money at a certain level can be very difficult, but at a certain level shouldn't be that difficult. Does it make sense? Okay, I guess
Good afternoon. So I'm Atoko Amina. And then when you were presenting, you made mention that trust is the currency of a business. My team and I, we feel that we found a solution to Ghana's oil importation problems. So for decades, Ghana has imported oil, which is the vegetable oil, palm oil, and other things. And then they are not seeing the fact that we have our very own homegrown alternative, which is the shea butter. So we are trying to make shea butter cooking oil. But our problem here is trust, because
did you hear the reaction when you said shea butter cooking oil? Did you hear the reaction from the women in the kitchen?
Yes.
Right.
So our problem is trust, because it's not something that is normal. I mean, we don't see it, and then it's not something that we use often. Okay, so how do we deal with this problem?
How are you building demand for the product? How are you marketing the product? Not selling, branding and marketing. How are you marketing the product?
We are still at the ideation stage. So
right. Do you have a prototype?
It's not here.
Do you have a prototype?
Yeah, we have it. It's not here.
How many people have tested the product?
Quite a few, but we receive good reviews.
Quite a few. How many?
Let's say about 15.
15.
Yeah.
How? Those are family and friends, right?
Yes.
Can you trust their feedback?
Yes, you can.
Okay. This is what I'll tell you. First, go through the FDA process. Find out if you can get a health seal, right? And if you do get a health seal from the Food and Drugs Authority, find people like AJ, right? And again, when I speak about people, when I ask you who have tested, there are people who can give you more credibility than 15 people in your family, right? So if probably you can get somebody to, who is the best TV food program person? Nanama. Okay, maybe she's expensive and it may be difficult, right? But go and give her a sample, right? Go and give her a sample for free. And only ask for feedback. And find all the credible TV cooking persons. And if you can get them to give you credible feedback on the product, then maybe you have a prototype. Then you need to sit and say, how do I market it? For now, I still think you're testing whether you have a product. I don't think you have a product yet, but it's a good idea. I like that you say you are in the ideation stage. So keep testing the idea until you have a product. Now, when you have a product, the question is, how do you build an ecosystem around it? How do you culture demand and supply around that product? Which is what I just told you. Culture people of influence in food purchases, and just maybe you might win. I wish you well.
Please, can we clap for him as he takes his seat? Oh, we can do better. We can do better. All right, so as part of the program, we were supposed to have a business pitch, but due to some circumstances beyond our control, we can't have it today, but we would have it in December. So if you are here and you have a business and you want to pitch it to the team, please see the ladies outside at the registration desks. Come join our mentorship program, and in December, we would have a grand pitch, and then we would announce a winner. Please, is that clear? Please, do you understand? Do you know where the registration desk is? Do you have an idea? So when you go through the door that will be on your left, there's a table right there, and you can speak to them, and then they would assist you.
We'll definitely recommend that. And I know that there are a number of people who are budding entrepreneurs, looking to be entrepreneurs in the building. A great way to start is by pitching your business, especially to the shea butter gentleman. Now, that's actually quite interesting. And it would be interesting to see how that works. Shea butter as cooking oil. Shea cooking oil. That could actually work. Anyways, so we look forward to all these exciting ideas being pitched in December. But at this point in time, we're going to be wrapping it up very shortly. But before that, we have an exciting performer coming in to give us a small poetry recital, Nokwasem poetry. So if Nokwasem is here, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for him to wrap it up nicely in some poetry.
Beyond the books, a child born onto the anthill is already tall enough to pluck some sweetest fruits with ease. Beyond the books, the child born into the dungeon can only become a champion after struggling to climb up onto the ground floor. Ago. Ago. You see, when I was growing up as a child, my elders once told me something. They said, even if the strangest stranger from a very far land entered the palace, he did not have to be in debt before paying homage to the elders. They said, Mpanyini, mechiachi amadeshi. Ini anu mpanyini nkuma, mechiachi munyina adeshi. Samuche meswa hinewa. Meseremo fo masomfa mikakra, sansemo asem kitua bika. Onipa biara ene ne nkrabia mu emfaso. Onipa biara ene ne hyebre mu mfomso. Onipa bia dwempa ene na tirimpo. Onipa biso adwenkyere o na tiko. Afe wo mu se o hyebre ene nkrabia enye pedie. Nanso so doma kuma won sempa bi de ma adasa. Ati so for that sani hunu muso ansa na wakasa. That is why the blind man's vision can clearly be seen in the pictures of his words. But until today, you and I are still searching for someone to interpret the dream of the dumb. Mpanyini say, "Nia ofri esumu apie no, ono ene ni me han so mfaso. Ye wa ka na pen no. Ofi se na ni so ada ho. Ne say nti, ena se onante bisafo, onante koto nkwantanan ahodo nan po a, akwankyere nti, e remfi na na mo kwan de. Nanso so kwan tware esuo na se esuo tware kwan a, ye say ye tiba bisa mpanyini say, opanyini ne hwan. Say na opanyini no ne otwa kwan ebo kwan ekoto kwan ma okwan de nante koduru abobo ano ane opanyini no ne empanyimfo atiti say no mu a wode wontiri apempem nyansa dunsini so ama bibremu nimdie ma hinta sema da adie. My fellow students, I want us to understand that we need to gather all these nuggets of wisdom and keep it in our youthful news, all because the lessons to be learned from the stories of old are mostly known in the footprint of our elders. And pimpana, Jemisuye, pimpana ye. Mpanyini say, Asempaye TNT and a kasatinti hoi entoponko. Just as a good matter is short, a word to a wise. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now that's how we slowly bring it to an end. But in wrapping up, I'd like to do a small quick exercise on the final points, picking up from a lot of the things that our speakers have said. How many of us here want to blow? Only one person? I see only one hand up. How many of us in the points or careers we want to blow? Okay. What is that reality for us? And let me get closer. How long do you think, based on the path you want to do, will take you to blow?
Should I just say the year or maybe estimation? 2 years. I'm not supposed to complete school before, I can do it. I'm not 20. Okay. That my views, this super popular, known by even a kid, maybe maybe like $2 million. Yeah.
2 years. Okay. Let me try someone else. How long from now do you think you think you can blow?
5 years.
And what does blowing look like to you?
Being able to support without having to sit on the bed at night and then rethink, recraft, no.
How much is in your account if you blow?
Maybe 10 digits.
10 digits. So 6 digits is what, in the hundreds? So we're looking at like the billions or hundreds of millions. City or?
No dollars.
Hey, 5 years. Okay. Can I come to you? Okay. How many years do you envision yourself blowing?
I would say 8 months.
8 months. What do you do that you think you get there in 8 months, and how's your life when you blow in 8 months?
I think I have an idea or something that is not really in the system.
Which is?
Okay, so we brought up a product that like turning a tomato into a powdered form, which will have a lifespan. It can stay on the shelves for like 2 years without going bad.
Do you have investors? Have you started? Is the product gotten FDA approval? Tell me what that looks like.
So the registration is in progress, but then we're looking for investors actually. We're quite scared and skeptical about it because I have tried once with another business idea and then it got out without me knowing about it. So I was actually here to pitch my business today, but it didn't come up. So in like 8 months, I'm sure.
8 months, we would have that idea on the market. And how much would you think will be in your account when you blow?
For now, I'd say 8 digits should start for us. Yeah.
8 months. I like it. All right, let me come here to this lovely lady. What's your perfect blowing time limit from now?
As soon as possible.
ASAP, okay. How much will be in your account if you blow next week? As soon as possible. So next week is it?
10 digits.
10 digits, okay. What idea is going to blow you?
I'm actually part of the Shevata team, so we are looking for investment.
What's your contribution to the team?
Okay, we are.
You. What's your contribution to the team?
I'm part of the research team, and then I'm part of the people looking for investments for.
Do you already have shares in this company?
No.
Okay. Yes, sir. What's a perfect? How many years from now, or months, or weeks?
Yeah, I'm looking at 6 months.
6 months. What idea is going to blow you?
Well, I am into forex trading, and it's a venture. Money in even 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Based on inflation, and you put the right money there. And how many digits at this point?
Oh, I'm looking at $2 million.
$2 million. Okay, 6 months, 8 months, 2 years, 5 years. That's a quick sample of how long it would take or people envision themselves to have blown. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but that might not be possible. It takes a while for things to line up. I'll explain. I've been doing media for 15 years. I started when I was 16. And 10 out of that, people barely knew me. And in the last 6 years, I'd say people really started to know me. And in the last 2 years, people now really know me. But it's taken me 16 years to get here. And the problem I see too many times now with younger people is people expect it to happen now and then get very disappointed when it doesn't. But disappointment is part of the journey. And that's what I want to end with. Disappointment is your motivator. Because the amount of times I have been disappointed, I cannot even get to it. And that is what has made the journey better. And I see it so many times now that I feel like people get really, really upset and start to blame any and everything and literally stop doing the things that can blow them because they feel, yeah, it didn't work out, okay, let me move on. But you would work a long time for nothing. Sometimes with a lot of stress and a lot of frustration, and you'll be broke, but you still have to keep doing it. Because I remember, like, and I don't think I've ever told anyone, but let me tell you guys quickly that maybe, how many years? I can't remember. Let's say 8 years ago, I had nothing to my name, but I was very popular. I had no money, and I was so frustrated that, Charlie, all the work I'm doing, I wanted to buy a car, and I realized even if I sell myself, I can't afford it. But I really needed it for my work, and I was so frustrated. But I just kept, you know what? Let me keep grinding. But I kept thinking about it, and every night I go to bed, I'll dream about the car I'm supposed to be driving in. And every time I'd sit in an Uber and I'd get down from an event, I'll be so upset. But you know what? I'll do it with grace. In my mind, Charlie, it's just a phase. Don't get there. I'll be okay. It will get better. But I kept putting in the effort, kept showing up, didn't get embarrassed about the fact that all other friends were driving in really nice cars and were doing really exciting things. But I kept showing up. Then one day, one random call I got from a friend that said, I need someone that can help do this. I said, well, I can do it. I mean, it's something I do all the time. Oh, okay, send me the budget. Huh? I can do it for free. He says, no, send me the budget. And I said, okay, what are you thinking? Then he starts to tell us, okay, the budget will be big. He says, send me the budget. And I did. And in literally 2 weeks, I had the exact amount I needed for the car. And that was simply because I didn't give up. And I kept showing up. And the same reason they called me that got me all at that point in time, everything I needed was the same thing I almost gave up on. And that was doing PR. Because I was like, actually, all this freelance prayer I'm doing, all this, because I would do it because I wanted to help people in terms of it. And I never really thought that it would earn me that. So I was like, let me just focus on media. At least that gives me a salary at the end of the month. But I kept on going on that. And that particular gig earned me everything I was looking for. And then the next month, something else came out of that because I did it really well. Word of mouth, then starts to spread, then it starts to move, and then people now reach out to me just because they want my ideas. But too many times, we will be disappointed. And that is a fact of life. 2 weeks to blow, you don't have shares in the company. So I get it, and I get how we all want. I mean, $2 million, yes, amazing. We might not get there in 2 years, but we could get there in 10. And that comes from consistency, something one of our speakers said. And the relationships we build, something another speaker said. And you see, when we focus on all the different things that have been said, how we can build our businesses, how we can do it all, add the God factor to it, because that is very, very important. But most importantly, not be overcome by the pressure. And too many times, social media, we see people living a certain life, buying Benz, buying cars, buying big houses, buying iPhone 16s, and we think, Charlie, but she's a girl like me. Why is she doing it and I can't do it? You understand? He's a guy like me. Why are we not doing it? But disappointment will come. How we overcome it is what is very important. To finally wrap it up, how many of us want to get a car soon? Can you drive? Can you drive? Can you drive? Okay, who wants a car but cannot drive? Hey. So if Mr. Francis right now said, okay, someone is getting the car, how would you take the car home? You now call someone to come and drive it for you. And you hire a driver to drive it. And bringing me to my final point, how prepared are you for that opportunity you're praying for? If you want a car but you don't know how to drive, it's cost 90. You're praying for the car, but you can't drive it. You're praying for the opportunity, but you never started it. You're praying for the breakthrough, but you haven't even put the money in it, or found ways to start it, or found ways to even be persistent in it. It's cost 90. So I'll leave you with two things. Disappointment is part of the journey, and most importantly, prepare for the opportunities you can. And before you know it, in a year from now, some of you actually would have blown, and we're here to celebrate it. Amen? Wonderful. On that note, I'll let Mr. Francis come and give us a final few words to officially wrap it up.
Thank you. Before we wrap it up, just want to share a word with you. And also, Mr. Bindako wants to share something on the cryptocurrency thing. But let me share something briefly then. With regards to, I realized this question keeps running through most students, that when someone says you don't need money to start a business, people doubt it sometimes. But that's the gospel truth. Whenever you find yourself needing money to start a business, that means you're not ready for the business. That means you don't even qualify for the business. You are not serious about the business. One, if you have an idea, if it's not a unique idea, find someone already doing something similar. Market theirs, save profit, start yours. But usually, we want to start big. We want to start on a grand scale. Someone will come, oh, I need money to rent a shop, decorate it. Nobody will give his money for you to, nobody will reach his money. Start small. And if you think your idea is so unique that no one is doing it, hence you cannot market somewhere soon, go and find something else to do. Save the profit and come and fund your project. That's it. Those are the only two ways around it. Either you sell someone's own, save money and start yours, or if you feel it's too unique, find something else to do. You can do any form of work, so long as it's legal. Work, save money. People started doing works that today, they're no longer doing it. Someone is driving Uber today, not because he wants to be an Uber driver. He wants to save enough money so that he can start his own business. So you see him driving Uber today. In 5 years from now, you see him doing something totally different. Thirdly, be a person of integrity. The friends you see today, the family, people you hang around with, they will be your future financiers if you want to be an entrepreneur. Support starts from there. There are people that have damaged, they have bad reputation among their friends and family that no one wants to support them, even though the idea is good. Lately, someone comes to me for help. At first, I was bothered. I'll go the extra mile to help. But later, I realized I don't need to stress myself, because what have you been doing all these years? How can you need this support? And if you're a needy person, that one is different. I will gladly help. But if you're not a needy person, my question is, what happens to your network? What have you been doing? Your friends, where are they? What happened? Why can't you get this support from your friends? Because with time, I've realized that people have the habit of borrowing and not paying. So they've done it to all their friends. Hence, they cannot go there. So when they see a new person, they approach you. You think they are all good, all nice, until they do it to you. And later, when you make your inquiries, you realize that you realize that, oh, that's their character. Hence, be a person of integrity. Your friends, among your family, everything you do, keep to your word. One day to save you. Don't say, oh, I'm joking. No, keep to your word. When you tell somebody, I will do this, do it. It builds the capacity. Imagine you're in school. You tell a friend you will do this, you will do it, and you do it. Somebody gives you money, maybe even 5 CDs. You tell the person, I'll return it tomorrow. Tomorrow you return it. If you finish school, and this same person is in a position to help, and you go to him with a big project, he will do it. Back then, there are many people I partnered to do business with, and honestly, I didn't know them from anywhere. But because of the credibility and past dealings, they easily helped. Hence, learn to be a person of integrity so that people can help you. The fast life, trust me, you will fail along the line. Don't try to be smart. Oh, you think you can be smart to your friends, parents, family members. Today you will benefit, but tomorrow when you now have that good idea, it will be like no one wants to support you. So 3 things I leave you with. In fact, let me make it 4. Be bold to ask for help. Be okay with people saying no. Keep going till you get a yes. If you ask this person for help and he says no, go to the next person. go to the next person. Keep going. Definitely, there's always one person who will say yes to support that business. So don't give up because one person said no. So 4 things I'm leaving you with. Learn to market other people's business or product. Save money and start yours. If your idea is so unique, look for something else to do. Save money and come back to start your own product. The 4th thing is what? Be a person of integrity so that people can easily help you. And the last thing is be okay with no, but keep going till you get a yes. And there's always a yes at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Once you have spoken, it is okay.
We're going to call Edna to give the vote of thanks to officially wrap us up on today's very exciting event. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Edna.
Thank you. All right, so first of all, we want to extend our appreciation to the school authorities for collaborating with us to bring such an inspiring and educative conference on campus. I also want to stand in and extend an appreciation to our very own founder and coach for always being willing to always provide resources so that young people like you and I can have the needed information we need for this period or season of our life. Then our third appreciation will go to our honorable speakers who always respond to us and give us a yes anytime we call on them. We duly appreciate your presence with us. And our fourth will go to our MCs who are also always standing by us anytime we call on them. Then the fifth comes to us, the students, those who decided and purposed in their hearts to be with us from the beginning to the end. We appreciate you all. Those who passed through to pick a thing or two, we extend our appreciation to you all. We thank you for making yourself available for us to have such an interactive and educative session. We get to meet again, hopefully, at our mentorship meeting. We have a monthly mentorship class that we run. If you want to be a part of it, if you have interest, if you want to grow some of the things we've spoken about, kindly go to the registration desk as the MC announced already, so that you go and register. So you get assistance, you get coaching, and you get support from our organization. We thank you all for being with us.
Yes, so thank you so much, Edna, for that. We're going to go into our closing prayer. Pastor Joel Lawe, right? I believe. Thank you so much for that. Is going to be giving us the closing prayer.
Thank you too. Hallelujah. Please, you would want to be upstanding even as we wrap up with prayer. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 3 that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Would you kindly want to lift up your voice and thank him for such a session and ask him to direct your path in the name of the Lord Jesus. And as we are praying, you will want to pray for UNIMAC Global, that we will always have the resources to be able to do good works. Pray for our visionaire in the name of the Lord Jesus, and also pray for our speakers. Lift up your voice and pray. We believe that there's a spirit that comes from God and is able to help you and I to be able to excel in life. Lift up your voice and pray. We cannot do it alone. Father, we thank you. We call it done in the name of the Lord Jesus because we know that you have answered our prayer. We know that a year about this time, 2 years about this time, that which you have said concerning your people will come to pass, and we will give glory and honor unto your holy name. And for this, we declare that the lives of your people are preserved and none of them will expire before their time. We bless you and we bless the works of their hands, that they will continue to flourish in the name of Jesus. Those who are struggling in the academia, we pray that the spirit of wisdom, understanding will be imparted to them in the name of the Lord Jesus. From today, be with them and be with us. In the name of Jesus, we pray with thanksgiving. And believers shall shout, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Joel. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, oh, please take a seat. Please be seated. Please be seated. We want to say a big thank you to every single person that has been here, taking time to be here today, join us for a very amazing session. And I hope you all learned something, yeah? Did we learn something? Fantastic. Look up.
All right, so before we leave, we would have some photographs, but we'll please plead with you that after the program ends, give the host and then the speakers some time to take their photographs. We will take pictures with you as well, so we don't just bombard them with questions and networking. Please, are we clear on that? Are we going to do that?
Ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, I think we want to round it up with a round of applause for Mr. Francis Dobache, guys. Louder, louder, you can do it louder, you can do it louder, you can do it louder. A big thank you to him, the man behind In Me Global, who has made this possible and has made it a point to ensure that we as young people all across Ghana will be able to tap into networking, entrepreneurship, and most importantly, mentorship, and together be able to create the Ghana we know, we love, and we'll be able to all be thankful for. But a round of applause to Amina. These two ladies are truly phenomenal in terms of MCing, and it's such a pleasure. Join us to be able to do this with these two amazing ladies, Likem and Amina. And my name is AJ Akwako Sapo, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
My name is Amina.
Amina, come and do your intro. You can't rock out all day.
And my name is Likem Chagli. We have
Amina Avisibana, not a regular Amina. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'd also want to thank the University of Media, Arts and Communication for giving us this opportunity to be here today. We are grateful and we hope to keep the relationship going. And this whole seminar was in partnership with the Career and Counseling Unit. Mr. Osei, we see you at the back. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, please do register at the counter outside so that you can be a part of the mentorship sessions. They get amazing people passing through and giving gems. Hopefully, one of these days I'll pass through as well. So please register at the desk and make sure to be a part of this global movement that would ensure that young people all across Africa will be self-sufficient and tap into opportunities they create.
All right, so